bagus gitu ya. Sayurnya, buahnya dikemas yang indah-indah, yang lucu-lucu sehingga menstimulasi anak-anak untuk tertarik makan.
The event also sessions on stunting for parents and teachers hosted by pediatrician. C2Day contributor reporting from Surabaya, East Java.
Oh, so cute. I still remember when I did that. Like, I did that twice when it was like in my first year of residency, right?
Right.
And then they actually asked me like a funny question. Are you a real doctor? Do you have needles with you? Like,
Yes, but we won't give you any today. Would you give me help?
yeah, not today, my darling.
I think, like schools, I was telling you guys, schools in Indonesia are quite good at this already.
Yep.
My kids' teachers, usually of their classes, they give references on food, what to bring. They don't tell you exactly what to bring, but they
Yep.
said, please try to include some vegetables. If you want to give them snacks, here are some suggestions.
Yep.
So I find that schools here in Indonesia, from a very young age, are already quite receptive into like what food they should be eating on a day-to-day basis.
That is so true. Awareness to the kids, because
Yes.
sometimes, believe it or not, the children's.
They don't make the best decisions. do they?
Yeah, that is so true.
Wait,
And they
are the school actually giving the suggestion to the parents or
Yes.
to the kids?
Yes.
Oh,
They give us like a bit of a guideline.
Okay.
Like
Yes.
what you should have, at least have like 3 different types of food.
Yep.
One of them should be vegetables, if
Right.
not some fruits and things like that.
It's actually also probably useful for some of the adults as well.
Yeah, you should be following these.
I know.
Good.
So true, because sometimes it's a bit hard to eat vegetables
Right.
in the house for children's, right?
Yeah.
Because, you know, their friends aren't looking. But if you're in a classroom
And they're all
filled with
doing it.
friends, right?
There are peer pressures.
Yeah.
I know, right? You're forced to eat them,
Yeah.
right? Is it yummy?
That's amazing.
Yummy. Anyway, okay, guys, so we are going to move on to our next story. Local government of Tangerang in Banten has taken proactive measures to address the hazardous and also toxic waste, aiming to keep it from ending up in landfills.
Now, in addition to that, encouraging residents to sort their waste into different categories, they have also established a call center for those facing difficulties in accessing the banks.
Throughout 2023, the Tangerang City government successfully collected a substantial amount of 550 kilograms of hazardous waste, which is currently stored at the city's Environment Office.
Saat ini kami masih sekitar 0,5% ya dari seluruh timbulan sampah, potensi sampah B3 yang dihasilkan ya gitu kan. Untuk itulah kami harus memasifkan informasi ini supaya berarti sampah-sampah ini tidak berakhir di lapak atau di TPA.
These materials require special treatment to ensure environmental friendliness and are strictly prohibited from being dumped in landfills due to their potential dangers.
Kayak contohnya misalnya kalau misalnya dia kaleng yang bertekanan itu kalau terkena panas misalnya di TPA terpapar begitu saja itu bisa meledak. Itu salah satu dan bisa menyebabkan kebakaran di TPA gitu ya. Atau seperti batu baterai juga ya, batu baterai bekas juga sama. Jadi beberapa kasus itu meledak gitu di tempat penyimpanan kami gitu ya. Sehingga itu perlu penanganan yang khusus gitu. Makanya tidak bisa berakhir di TPA dan itu kami kumpulkan, collecting dan kami kelolakan dengan pihak ketiga.
To mitigate such risks, the Tangerang City government has initiated a call center program facilitating the process for locals to dispose of their non-organic waste properly. City residents are strongly encouraged to separate their waste for effective waste management.
Di Kota Tangerang itu kami sudah arahkan untuk melakukan pemilahan sampah dari sumbernya. Jadi ada sampah organik, sampah anorganik, dan sampah yang mengandung B3.
However, before waste collection from citizens, individuals are reminded to initially deposit their waste at their nearest waste bank. C2Day contributor reporting from Tangerang, Banten.
Now, still on the topic of education, Indonesia's maritime prowess has a rich history dating back to the 14th century, and its legacy continues to thrive today.
And if you or someone you know is interested in exploring the history and discovering various naval military artifacts, there is a recently inaugurated museum in Surabaya, East Java, waiting just for you to visit. Here are more details in this report.
Starting on Sunday, January 21, there's a brand new museum to explore in Surabaya, East Java, the Central Museum of Indonesian Navy, Jalasveva Jayamahe. This museum showcases a fascinating collection of historical military memorabilia. Among the exhibits are various missiles, airplanes, and the Mi-4 Hound helicopter. In the 1960s, this helicopter was utilized as an anti-submarine chopper capable of carrying naval bombs. The museum also features memorabilia from the 1964 Wikora operation displayed on the expansive 3.2-hectare grounds. Traditional weaponry like spiked bamboo pays homage to Indonesian heroes' ability to defend their land.
Museumnya saya pribadi sangat bagus banget. Terus kita jadi bisa tahu sejarah-sejarahnya tentang perkapalan, terus tentang angkatan laut yang lainnya.
Inside, visitors will find a replica of the traditional boat known as the Jung, named by the explorer Ibnu Battuta in the 14th century as the master of the Southeast Asia seas. In addition, there are replicas of various ships within the museum complex.
Belakang saya ini adalah kapal replika KRI RE Marta Dinata berukuran 1:1 yang di dalamnya bisa dikunjungi karena di dalamnya ada tata pamer benda-benda koleksi terkait dengan koarmada yang dimiliki Angkatan Laut.
Step aboard the replica of the RE Marta Dinata ship and visitors can immerse themselves in the experience of being part of the crew of Indonesia's most sophisticated warship. Visitors can also explore inside planes to gain insights into the military power of the Indonesian Navy. To enter the Central Museum of Indonesian Navy Jalasveva Jaya Mahe, admission ranges from 15,000 to 50,000 rupiah. Today contributor reporting from Surabaya, East Java.
All right, so from Surabaya, we're taking you to Medan because there's a local snack business called ceker ayam or chicken feet in Medan, North Sumatra, which has been around since the 1960s and also has been managed through generations.
The owner, who sticks to the traditional ingredients in making the snacks, hopes that the business will continue to thrive and create more job opportunities for the locals.
In Medan, North Sumatra, there's a woman who serves as the third successor in a local confectionery business known as ceker ayam. This is a family business that has been in existence since 1960s when her grandmother and father brought handmade snacks from Rantau Prapat for their relatives in Medan.
Udah tahun 63 sampai udah 3 generasi.
Sampai sekarang ya?
Sampai sekarang. Sekarang anaknya yang megang. Cucu dari nenek ke anak ke cucu lah sekarang.
The term ceker ayam, which translates to chicken feet, is used because its preparation involves using a fork as a mold, resembling a chicken searching for food. The main ingredient is cleaned and grated sweet potatoes, which are then fried for 5 minutes. 5 skilled individuals are employed to mold the still warm ceker ayam. They typically work from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. In a day, they can prepare up to 500 packages, and this snack can last for 1 month. A single package containing 10 pieces of ceker ayam is priced at 12,000 rupiah, while a package with 20 pieces is priced at 24,000 rupiah.
Supaya majulah usaha kita ini bertambah omsetnya bertambah lagi. Bisa inilah memajukan pabrik kami inilah supaya maju. Kayak mana caranya mengapakannya? Belum ada, masih gula merah aja lah masih. Paling banyak 500 bungkus lah. Untuk saat ini.
Additionally, she plans to promote the business on social media and expand its reach beyond Medan. Today News contributor reporting from Medan, North Sumatra.
Well, speaking of cooking, in order to cook, you do need heat. And the production of coconut shell briquette charcoal in Tigoong, Serang City in Banten has soared after the pandemic.
Now, these export goods can be produced up to 2 tons daily, generating an annual business turnover of 700 to 800 million rupees.
A briquette or coconut shell charcoal production house in Cigoong village, Walatantaka sub-district Serang, Banten, has made it to the international market. Established since 2018, this production house can produce 2 tons of briquette charcoal daily, generating a turnover of 700 million rupiah annually. This briquette charcoal is commonly used as combustion medium for shisha tobacco and also as a room heater during winter.
Kalau ini sih mungkin 95%-nya kita ekspor.
Ekspor ya?
5%-nya baru lokal. Kalau ekspor sementara ini sih kita ke Timur Tengah. Timur Tengah dan Eropa juga. Ekspor. Kalau yang dari arangnya kita cluster itu untuk sisa.
Untuk sisa?
Media bakar tembakau, rokok sisa. Ya, kalau dari abunya itu kita bisa untuk barbecue, untuk pemanas ruangan atau untuk barbecue sate.
In the local market, however, briquettes are less popular, despite being highly environmentally friendly due to their low smoke emission. Today contributor reporting from Bandung.
All right, so that wraps it up for this segment. So we are set for our very first short break. So when we return, we still have news from around Indonesia. So keep it here only on the C Morning Show right here. See you today.
Ke Binjai mau migrasi.
Cakep.
Anjay, aku deportasi.
Ya aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik ya.
Aduh ya Allah.
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi itu hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mars.
Pemain.
Group of volunteers operating in south of the city has united to assist displaced children in a refugee camp in Rafah in overcoming the trauma of war. The volunteers come from diverse professional backgrounds and share expertise in working with young people.
Asian flavors is gaining more popularity around the world in the last decade. Personally love this, not just because it is familiar for our palate, but because the airiness, the textures of the youtiao, it's completely different than baguette. So with those appetites and with those pleasure-driven people, Menteng is a very special place for restaurant.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
Handball karena masih baru, tadi kita harus bisa juga mempopulerkan ini kepada masyarakat sampai ke bawah.
We do it from scratch at the time because we don't know ice hockey, how to play, how to develop, how to manage this sport.
You don't have to be good with your foot.
You can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Oh, I love this atmosphere. Woo! Heading to Gili Trawangan. And this special episode, I already prepared myself for an adventure on the island, which in the top of the list to visit. And this is the travel note because life is dope.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia keluar dia itu bergelombol, menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
You don't have to be good with your foot. You can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Welcome back to the C Morning Show, everyone. It is now time for some local updates. As mentioned in our headlines, a school building in central Maluku burned down early yesterday while classes were still ongoing.
The fire prompted the swift evacuation of hundreds of students. Firefighters put out the blaze in 2 hours with no casualties reported.
Investigations have shown that the fire began at the infirmary before quickly spreading and engulfing 6 classrooms and the library. An electrical short has been blamed for the fire.
Now, 6 have died after a truck packing the people overturned in Bandung Regency.
The truck was carrying mourners who were returning from a death anniversary event in Cianjur in the early hours of Friday.
The truck swerved and rolled over twice on a downhill road after the driver appeared to have lost control. 24 other passengers were also injured in the incident.
Moving on to our next news, National Capital Authority, or OIKN, is holding the 2024 Nusantara Fair from 26 until 28 January.
This event showcases the progress of the future capital and its technologies that have been used in its development.
The National Capital Authority, or OIKN, is holding the Nusantara Fair at Kota Kasablanka Mall in Jakarta. Speaking during the event's launch on Friday, agency head Bambang Susantono described the fair's function as updating the public on IKN's progress and introducing future programs in support of the residents. He added that IKN is part of national development that will provide space for people to enjoy economic equality as an Indonesian-centric capital as opposed to Java-centric.
Menurut kami justru kita ingin mengajak semua masyarakat Indonesia untuk benar-benar Nusantara itu bagian dari transformasi kita bersama. Tagline kita kan adalah Nusantara adalah kita adalah Nusantara gitu ya. Jadi kita ingin mengajak sosialisasi, banyak yang belum mengerti apa itu IKN Nusantara, bagaimana akan dibangun, bagaimana kita akan membangun Indonesia sentris ke depannya, tidak lagi Jawa sentris, bagaimana kita akan melakukan transformasi hijau, bagaimana nanti 2045 ini teman-teman yang di sini ini yang muda-muda yang akan menjadi penghuni IKN gitu ya. IKN itu asik loh.
On the occasion, Bank Mandiri's Deputy CEO Alexandra Askandar revealed that the bank is planning to establish a head office in Nusantara, boasting a green concept and digital-based service system. She described the move as Bank Mandiri's participation in national development.
Jadi, sebagaimana kehadiran kami di sini merupakan wujud bagaimana Bank Mandiri mendukung upaya pemerintah dalam mewujudkan ibu kota Nusantara dan juga khususnya dari sisi otorita IKN. Dan kalau yang tadi bocorannya mungkin waktunya kapan kita tunggu sama-sama ya.
Nusantara Fair runs until January the 28th. Arif Subakti, Niko Arianto for See Today.
Look at a quick look now at updates regarding the upcoming Indonesian general elections on Indonesia Votes 2024.
Indonesian presidential candidate Anies Baswedan delivered remarks on boosting the economy and ecosystem in eastern Indonesia during a Friday rally in Ternate, North Maluku.
And on that same day, candidate Prabowo Subianto received honors for helping a migrant worker escape a death sentence in Malaysia.
Also on Friday, candidate Ganjar Pranowo campaigned in Manggarai Regency with promises on meeting the needs of society.
Presidential candidate Anies Baswedan held a campaign rally in Ternate, North Maluku on Friday. His remarks touched on equal opportunity in eastern Indonesia and regulations on boosting development he seeks to propose if elected. He also highlighted the welfare of fishers. On the same day, presidential candidate Prabowo Subianto received an award from lawyers for his efforts in helping migrant worker Wilfrida Soik escape death sentence in Malaysia back in 2015. In his remarks, Prabowo described the effort as motivated by humanitarian reasons. He also spoke with Wilfrida virtually and promised to meet her when visiting East Nusa Tenggara. Also on Friday, presidential candidate Ganjar Pranowo campaigned in Manggarai Regency, East Nusa Tenggara. Supporters crowded the venue in Regency capital Ruteng despite the pouring rain, while Ganjar spoke on his commitment to expanding education and healthcare access and providing clean water. The rally also featured a simulation on voting using a giant ballot. He also met locals in the Ruteng Pu'u village. See Today contributors reporting from Maluku, Jakarta, and East Nusa Tenggara.
In other news, officials have dismantled rule-breaking campaign materials from multiple areas in Jakarta over concerns that they may cause traffic accidents.
Elections watchdog Bawaslu and the South Jakarta administrations has dismantled campaign materials from the Kuningan flyover and pedestrian bridges. Traffic cops were involved in Friday's operations to manage the traffic. Similar efforts also took place in North Jakarta. Municipal police officers and transport officials also took a part. Several flyovers were combed, including the Ancol flyover. Most of the materials taken down were flags.
Ya, flyover ini memang membuat masalah ya, karena satu tempat tinggi ini untuk spanduk bendera-bendera yang memang terpasang ini banyak memakan korban. Untuk Jakarta Utara alhamdulillah belum pernah, tapi Jakarta Selatan kita bisa lihat sudah berapa kali makan korban. Jangan sampai kita menunggu korban, kalau kita bisa bereskan hari ini.
The materials are currently being stored by Bawaslu and will be disposed of if not reclaimed. See Today contributor reporting from Jakarta.
And all three Indonesian presidential candidates have pledged to decrease food imports as well as harnessing the full potential of local food resources.
Furthermore, each of the three pairs has their unique approach to realize this vision.
During the 2024 general election campaign period in Indonesia, all three pairs of presidential candidates have made commitments to reduce food imports and enhance the utilization of local food resources. Each pair has articulated their visions on various occasions. For instance, on January 3 of this year, Vice Presidential candidate Muhaimin Iskandar participated in a dialogue with farmers in Bandung Regency, West Java. He emphasized the importance of farmers profiting from their harvest and promised to provide a solution.
Makanya pemerintah nanti kalau Amin menang, ambil alih off-taker semua dari seluruh produk pertanian menjadi tanggung jawab pemerintah untuk membelinya. Sebab apa? Dengan posisi ini maka petani harus untung sehingga mau dan terus berproduksi. Kebutuhan pangan kita amat sangat besar dan harus dipikirkan menjadi prioritas nasional.
At another event on January 18 in Blora, Central Java, presidential candidate Prabowo Subianto expressed his goal of achieving food self-sufficiency for Indonesia. He also mentioned that this objective aligns with his current role as a defense minister.
Saya sebagai Menteri Pertahanan diberi tugas antara lain untuk mengembangkan ketahanan pangan. Tanpa pangan tidak ada negara. Tanpa pangan tidak ada peradaban manusia. Bangsa kita, republik kita, negara kita harus bisa produksi pangan sendiri.
And on January 6 this year, presidential candidate number 3, Ganjar Pranowo, engaged with supporters in East Jakarta. During the gathering, Ganjar advocated for the promotion of local farming and the improvement of self-sufficiency.
Impornya kapan itu? Cita-citanya kali ya. Lebih baik kita bicara kemandirian ekonomi kita dan bagaimana kita punya breeding sendiri, mengembangkan sendiri, dan kita bisa berproduksi sendiri. Kalau impor kan banyak orang yang mampu. Dan inilah yang membuat seringkali kita sangat bergantung dalam soal pangan dengan dunia lain. Maka kita tunjukkan bahwa kita mesti serius urus soal politik pangan ini. Dan nggak bisa setengah-setengah.
Dukungan hari ini aspirasinya. In the Southeast Asia region's Food Security Index, Indonesia holds the 4th position, trailing behind Singapore, Malaysia, and Vietnam. Nevertheless, it is noteworthy that country's ranking in 2022 has improved compared to 2 years earlier. Today News contributors reporting from West Java, Central Java, and Jakarta.
All right, we're going for our second break now, but after the break, Paul will bring us some sports updates. What do you have for us today, Paul?
Thanks, Russia. Coming up next, we have some shocking news from the world of football, from Liverpool, in fact. The resignation of Jurgen Klopp is stealing the headlines. We also have some of the latest updates and results from the NBA as we get closer to All-Star Weekend. All that and more when we return here on the C Morning Show. Stay tuned. Your Saturday morning sports update is coming up next.
All right, guys, let's get into our first update for today.
Meanwhile, a plume of smoke was seen billowing in the distance from Rafah in the Gaza Strip on Saturday, marking the 11th week of humanitarian crisis in Palestine.
Mount Anak Krakatau continues to erupt, spewing volcanic materials up to 300 meters high.
Sri Mulyani Indrawati said that Indonesia has minimized taking that to meet the needs of the 2023 state budget until the end of the year.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
You don't have to be good with your foot. You can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah. 821 ini perbedaannya dari Ducati sebelumnya adalah pertama terletak dari radiator, kedua dari desainnya yang cukup gambot, lebih padat, dan yang ketiga dia sudah ada riding mode.
Hey there, buddies! Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk.
Enggak, dia hostnya, kita co-hostnya.
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. That's actually a good hack, because I used to live in Canada. That was our trick. Point to Manado on the smack. I'm horrible. I told you I'm bad.
Dikira dengan banyaknya informasi itu kan jadi makin gampang gitu nulis.
Iya.
Tapi ternyata susah banget.
Berangkat aja dulu, kerjakan apa yang ada di depan kalian. Setidaknya kalian hari ini walaupun tidak mendapatkan uang, tapi kalian mendapatkan kesempatan.
Walaupun di awal-awal itu banyak sekali rintangan dan tantangan.
Kalian berproses aja dulu, jalan aja dulu. Kalau udah waktunya kalian untuk dapetin uang akan datang nyamperin kalian. Hal yang paling sangat utama untuk mengawali bisnis, ridho dan restu orang tua. Itu hal dan modal paling besar dalam mengawali usaha.
Ke Binjai mau migrasi.
Cakep.
Anjay, aku depotsi.
Ya, aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik loh.
Aduh ya Allah.
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi itu hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mas.
Pemain.
Group of volunteers operating in the south of the city has united to assist displaced children in a refugee camp in Rafah in overcoming the trauma of war. The volunteers come from diverse professional backgrounds and share expertise in working with young people.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
You don't have to be good with your foot. Like, you can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back. You're still with us here on the C Morning Show. It is 6:30 in the a.m., and it's time for your Saturday morning sports update. We're going to begin with some football news. The Indonesia under-20 football team lost 2-1 in an international friendly match at the Gelora Bung Karno Stadium in Jakarta last night. The young Garuda squad took the lead initially in the 12th minute through a goal by Tony Firmansyah. Thailand, however, equalized with a goal by Paripan Wongsa during the 62nd minute. And the winning goal was scored by Pikanet Lau Hawiwat in second half extra time. And next up, the Indonesia under-20 team will be playing another friendly match against Uzbekistan. That match will be held at the Gelora Bung Karno Stadium as well in Senayan, Jakarta on Tuesday, January the 30th at 7:30 p.m. local time.
I think we had a better score in the second half, that's correct. But we also had a lot of chances in the first half, I feel. Like right after kickoff, to mention, for example, our strikers all the way through one-on-one with the goalkeeper. So I think if we score our chances in the first half, it would have been also a different game. But what changes from first to second half is that we could actually see how Indonesia plays, because we didn't have too much information about this team. We couldn't do too much scouting about your team. And I think looking at team to play for 45 minutes helped us fine-tune a little bit our pressing. So I think we were much more successful in the second half in winning the ball high. And yeah, that helped us to create a couple of chances, and luckily, fortunately, we scored 2 of them.
Memang tujuan dari uji coba tadi adalah melihat atau memastikan kualitas dari para pemain secara individu. Bagaimana kita ingin secepatnya setelah beberapa kali pertandingan uji coba nanti kita dapat kesimpulan siapa-siapa yang masih bisa menjadi bagian dari skuad tim nasional U20.
And we've got more football news for you, this time out of the EPL, as Jurgen Klopp has announced that he will step down as Liverpool manager at the end of this season. Klopp has led Liverpool to a Champions League title and Premier League championship during his tenure after being hired in October of 2015. He made this shock announcement on Friday that he will be resigning at the end of the season, saying that he is, quote, running out of energy. Here's more on what he had to say.
Well, Jurgen, we're here because you have an important message to deliver to our supporters. Would you like to tell them what that is?
Yeah, I have to. I will leave the club at the end of the season. I can understand that it's a shock for a lot of people in this moment when you hear it the first time, but obviously I can explain it, or at least try to explain it, and I love absolutely everything about this club. I love everything about the city. I love everything about our supporters. I love the team. I love the staff. I love everything. That I still take this decision probably will, or shows you that I'm convinced it's the one I have to take. It is that I'm, how can I say that I'm running out of energy. I have no problem now. Obviously, I think I know it already for longer, that I will have to announce that at one point. But I'm absolutely fine now. But I know that I cannot do the job again and again and again and again. And after all the years we had together, and after all the time we spent together, and after all the things we went through together, the respect grew for you, the love grew for you, and the least thing I owe you.
So as you just heard, Jurgen Klopp blames fatigue on this bombshell decision to stand down as Liverpool manager after 8.5 years on the job, and insisted as well that nothing could make him make a U-turn like Sir Alex Ferguson did at Manchester United. Now, remember that Klopp is still under contract at Liverpool, a club which he transformed after replacing Brendan Rodgers in October of 2015 until 2026. But he has opted to leave at the end of this season, which is 2 years early, having grown tired of the intense demands of the role. He did inform Mike Gordon, who's the president of Liverpool's owner, Fenway Sports Group, of his decision back in November, but only told Liverpool's players only before training on Friday. Now, the search for Klopp's replacement is still underway, but Liverpool maintained that no approaches have been formally made. The former Liverpool midfielder Xabi Alonso is likely to be among the frontrunners, having led Bayer Leverkusen to the top of Bundesliga. Now, back to Klopp, he claims that he would have no say in the appointment of his successor. And also, unlike Ferguson, who chose David Moyes as his replacement at United and changed his mind on retiring midway through the 2001-2002 season, he insisted he would not reconsider even if his team won all 4 available trophies this season. Now, Klopp was drained by last year's disappointments when Liverpool failed to qualify for the Champions League for the first time in 7 years, and enthused by the midfield recruitment drive that followed in the summer. However, despite Liverpool recovering their position as the biggest challenger to Manchester City's dominance, Klopp realized that he lacked the energy required for the job when planning the 2024-25 preseason last November. Now, Klopp hopes that his announcement will galvanize Liverpool's pursuit of silverware in what will be, most unexpectedly, his final season at the club, where he is obviously idolized. Beyond that, the charismatic German coach believes that he will bequeath a squad and a club which is in excellent shape. Now, more news out of the EPL as Calvin Phillips completed his move to West Ham on Friday on a 6-month loan deal from Manchester City, where the England midfielder had fallen out of favor with Pep Guardiola. Calvin Phillips had made just 16 Premier League appearances, all but 2 as a substitute in 18 months at City. This move should help the 28-year-old Phillips compete for an England spot at the European Championship, and it gives West Ham depth as it contends for a Europa League title and another European spot in the Premier League. Phillips had joined Manchester City in the summer of 2022, leaving his hometown and boyhood club Leeds to sign a 6-year contract. City had paid a transfer fee of £45 million at the time. All right, from football, let's shift our attention over to the United States for some basketball news out of the NBA, as Pascal Siakam finished with 26 points, 13 rebounds, and 10 assists as the Indiana Pacers never trailed in a 134-122 victory over the powerhouse Philadelphia 76ers on Thursday night. For Spicy P, it was his first win since Toronto traded him to the Pacers last week against his longtime coach, Nick Nurse. The victory snapped a 3-game losing streak and fittingly capped a night in which Pacers players and fans relished the announcement of Tyrese Halliburton making his first All-Star starter. Perhaps even better, it came against reigning MVP Joel Embiid, who had 31 points and 7 rebounds just 3 days after breaking the 76ers' franchise record with 70 points. Philadelphia had previously won 6 straight games.
Listen to this crowd.
So after the acquisition of Pascal Siakam from the Raptors last week, Miles Turner discussed what this could mean for the Pacers' front court. The Pacers' 9-year veteran center believed that he wouldn't be able to be defended by smaller players via cross-matching anymore. Siakam will absorb those players while Turner is contained by the bigs. And he was proven right for the entirety of this game. Those two players set the tone from the jump. In the first quarter alone, they combined for 15 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, and 2 blocks. Now, keep in mind, this has just been their 4th game together, but after a key practice on Wednesday, everything that Siakam did looked even more effective, and this included playing alongside Miles Turner. And on the night, lineups featuring both big men were plus 28 in a 12-point win. The starting lineup accounted for plus 21 of that figure. That group also featured Buddy Hield, Andrew Nembhard, and Aaron Nesmith, who were a combined 7 of 11 from long range. They created spacing, and that makes everything easier for the front court pairing. And on the other end, the duo did well to limit the defensive impact of Joel Embiid. Philly's 3-time NBA All-Defensive Team selection spent 29 possessions defending Turner per the league's matchup tracking data. The Pacers scored 41 points in those moments, while Turner himself shot 50% from the field. Embiid's time on Siakam led to missed shots for Siakam specifically, but Indiana did score 17 points on 11 possessions in that alignment. And for the season, the Siakam-Turner pairing is at a plus 8 in 99 minutes so far. The Pacers boast a ridiculous 123.5 offensive rating in those situations, many of which have come without 2-time All-Star guard Tyrese Halliburton, though their defensive rating has been at 119.6, and that number needs to be better. Still, though, the plus 3.9 net rating is exciting for the blue and gold, and on Thursday night, those two were Indiana's best performers in a key victory, and there might be something special brewing in the Pacers' front court. Now, from the East Coast, let's move over to the West, where LeBron James, after being named as a 20-time All-Star starter, yes, broken history, he also had 25 points and 12 assists. Just several hours of being named to his record 20th NBA All-Star team as the Los Angeles Lakers beat the Chicago Bulls 141-132 on Thursday night.
LeBron back it in with Williams. A little bit of a hand check. Good spin! And he throws it down!
Los Angeles Lakers beat Chicago Bulls 141-132 on Thursday night.
Up by 5. This is their biggest lead.
D'Angelo Russell hit 8 3-pointers and scored 29 points, while Anthony Davis had 22 points, and Alston Reeves added 20 points and 8 assists.
The next 2. Long 3.
Los Angeles racked up a season-high 112 points through 3 quarters and took a 24-point lead that kept it safe during the Bulls' 39-point fourth quarter. The Lakers' 141 points were a season high, as were the Bulls' 132.
You're right, Stu. Doesn't matter where he is on the court.
Los Angeles area native DeMar DeRozan scored 14 of his 32 points in the fourth to lead 6 scorers in double figures for the Bulls, who have lost the first 2 on their 3-game West Coast trip. Kobe White added 25 points. Nikola Vucevic had 20, and former Lakers guard Alex Caruso had 17.
Unconscious!
With this victory, the Lakers went 6-6 to wrap up a 23-day stretch in which they had just 1 game outside Los Angeles.
Alex is stopping that. And no way you confront there.
LeBron James had 25 points and 12 assists and became the first 20-time All-Star in NBA history earlier Thursday, surpassing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record. James, who topped Abdul-Jabbar as the leading scorer in league history last season, will also start his 20th All-Star game on February the 19th.
No way Alex is stopping that. And no way you confront there.
So great game by Jared Vanderbilt in this one, but all eyes were on D'Angelo Russell. I watched this one. He was absolutely on fire, knocking down 8 of his shots from beyond the arc. Now, everything about D'Angelo Russell's situation toward the start of the season pointed toward him being traded before the upcoming trade deadline. Now, he was sitting out injured after slumping in December. His contract was already very tradable, and the Lakers were being increasingly linked to either Alex Caruso or lately DeJounte Murray. Now, his response to the situation has been to play some of the best basketball of his time in Los Angeles and possibly even his career as a whole, including some early games to shake off the rust. Russell has averaged 22.9 points per game, 6.6 assists, while shooting 51.3% from the field, 46.6% from beyond the arc, and 81.8% from the line in the month of January alone. Now, for a typically streaky player, this isn't really a shocking development, but the timing of it has been very important and has potentially changed the Lakers' approach to the upcoming trade deadline. And on a recent episode of the Hoops Hype podcast, Jovan Buddha of The Athletic reported that Russell's recent play has made the Lakers rethink of how much they value Russell. As much as some fans may want to keep D'Lo, there aren't many logical arguments to do so, and most of that boils down to his contract. With a player option coming up next season, it's always been a contract for the Lakers to trade. Now, though, it'll be a matter of how the other NBA teams value him and if that also has risen in the last month. And as things stand, the most recent reports are that the Hawks did not have much interest in him, which likely won't change. But if a third team grows more interested in him after this stretch, then that could help facilitate a deal and get them past this sticking point. Now, consider this another variable thrown into the mix as the Lakers look to navigate the coming months and the trade deadline as a whole. And that last bit of news wraps up our sports update for now. We will have more sports for you coming up later in the program before the end of the show. And we got a little R&R coming up after our next break. Yes, Rahma and Rasha will be back to share with you some of the latest from the world of entertainment. Stay tuned.
The beauty and the excitement of being there, indescribable to be such an iconic, historical, and magnificent.
Let's take a look around, shall we?
Come on in.
We found them.
Where people come and go.
A cup of tea, a perfect way to end your day. Come see the beauty, only on Indonesia.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
You don't have to be good with your foot. Like, you can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Oh, I love this atmosphere. Woo! Heading to Gili Trawangan. And this special episode, I already prepared myself for an adventure on the island, which in the top of the list to visit. And this is the travel note because life is dope.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia keluar dia itu bergelombol, menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
All right, guys, let's get into our first update for today.
Meanwhile, a plume of smoke was seen billowing in the distance from Rafah in the Gaza Strip on Saturday, marking the 11th week of humanitarian crisis in Palestine.
Mount Anak Krakatau continues to erupt, spewing volcanic materials up to 300 meters high.
Sri Mulyani Indrawati said that Indonesia has minimized taking that to meet the needs of the 2023 state budget until the end of the year.
821 ini perbedaannya dari Ducati sebelumnya adalah pertama terletak dari radiator, kedua dari desainnya yang cukup gambot, lebih padat, dan yang ketiga dia sudah ada riding mode.
You're back with us on the C Morning Show right here on C Today. Okay, so it is almost 7 a.m. in the morning. So it is time for some entertainment news for you guys. Okay, so first off, Netflix recently unveiled the official trailer of Avatar: The Last Airbender ahead of its February 22nd premiere.
And the world might never recover.
The acclaimed and adored Nickelodeon animated series of the same name is adapted into a live-action series that revolves around 4 nations, namely the Earth Kingdom, the Fire Nation, the Air Nomads, and the Water Tribes that make up the worlds in which it is set. Benders are individuals who, through the use of gestures derived from Chinese martial arts, possess the capacity to telekinetically manipulate and control the element associated with their country. The only person who possesses the capacity to bend all 4 elements is known as Avatar.
The cast for Netflix's Avatar live action includes Wen-pyo Tarbell as Katara, Ian Osley as Sokka, Dallas Liu as Prince Zuko, and Gordon Cormier as Aang. Now, meanwhile, executive producers of this series include Albert Kim, who doubles as the showrunner, and Dan Lin, Lindsay Liberator, to a few.
I am so excited for this movie, Rahman. This is actually my favorite, not even childhood, like adulthood movies. I watched this firstly as an adult when I was in high school and completely fell in love because it tells a story about 4 different nations that have 4 different characteristics, sort of like Divergent, for example, like where you have different archetype of people in each different tribes, and it shows how initially they started to fight with each other, but then they find a way to sort of come together and overcome that differences. I think it, an analogy to a real world where, of course, we have our differences, but with understanding and tolerance, we can actually collaborate and create something more beautiful.
I like it how you explain that.
So are you
last 1 minute?
I know, are you interested? Okay. All right. So I have, attracted Rahmas to become a new fan of Avatar of Aang. But we're going to move on to our next story where Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer has set a cinematic release date in Japan despite public criticism surrounding the sensitive subject matter of the film. Let's take a look.
The movie was released by Universal in most territories in July and went on to gross over $950 million at the global box office. But Toha Toa, which handles most Universal titles in Japan, did not release the movie.
We've got one hope.
However, in December, it was reported that the indie film distributor Peter Sand would give the movie a theatrical release in the country and is set to release on March the 29th.
We push that button.
On social media, Peter Sand said that the decision was made following months of thoughtful dialogue associated with the subject matters and acknowledging the particular sensitivity for Japanese people. They invite the audience to watch the film with their own eyes when it comes to Japan.
Remember this day.
Peter Sand has a history of working awards contenders. Other Universal titles it has released in Japan, including Darkest Hour and Licorice Pizza.
Until somebody builds a bigger one.
We'll have more from the world of cinema. American rapper / musician Snoop Dogg is now ready to take another stage as an actor in The Underdog.
Now, the movie is inspired by the rapper's real-life experiences with the Snoop Youth Football League. Let's take a look.
Snoop Dogg takes the stage as Jason Jennings in the upcoming film The Underdogs. Snoop starts as a former pro football player with a penchant for a lavish lifestyle. Jason's story unfolds in this Charles Stonefree-directed comedy. The movie was inspired by Snoop Dogg's real-life experiences through his Southern Californian-based Snoop Youth Football League he founded more than a decade ago. His league has had several players who end up in the NFL, including Houston Texas quarterback C.J. Stroud, New England Patriots wideout Juju Smith-Schuster, and Los Angeles Chargers linebacker Diane Henley. Aside being a star in the movie, Dogs is also one of the producers along with Kenya Barris. The movie also features Tika Sumpters, Mike Epes, Andrew Schools, Carl Penn, Candy Barus, and George Lopez. Through his deeds, Snoop's character hopes to provide himself back into the spotlight. He ends up meeting a bunch of potty-mouthed kids who are just as candid as him.
I see me in every last one of you. Everybody has their own unique personality. Everybody has their own story. And that's what I love about this movie, is that it's so close to the kids that I coached in real life. Like, each one of these characters that they played actually live on past the movie. I still see them as those characters because I coached, and it's such a real moment for me. And the way that they played these parts, they really did an exceptional job. These are some great actors that's sitting behind me.
Sound just like me. If you really want to win a game.
As a closing crawl notes, Snoop has made youth football one of his ways of giving back to the community, including a recent partnership with the NFL San Diego Chargers. The Underdogs now is available on Amazon Prime.
I am sure that Snoop Dogg will perform well in this movie because, you know what, actually he has a reality show where he cooks and talks and have brunch with Martha Stewart. Can you imagine?
Really?
So Martha, as we know, is a household goddess who is very like disciplined and very like tidy and everything, and they actually make a talk show together,
which is very good.
Which is very good.
But Basic Line, I want to see that because that's based on a true story.
Yeah.
And I love every movie which is from a true story, real life, right? So actually we can learn how you overcome the obstacles if there's one. And then, actually, because that is from a real life. You know how to tackle it. And there's always a point that you will win one day.
Right.
I like that. Okay?
And maybe it's because it's a true story. It's different than fiction, right?
Like fiction, drama, love stories, something like that.
It's more
true.
genuine. It's more real. So it is more inspiring as well.
Right. But Avatar would be an okay for me. Okay.
Yes. Okay. All right. Now moving on to one of the largest music festivals in Europe. Roskilde announces Foo Fighters, Jane's Addiction, Doja Cat, and other acts joining the lineup on the Orange Stage Red this summer. Let's take a look.
Yes, so the 52nd edition of Roskilde Festival will take place from Saturday, June the 29th to Saturday, July the 6th. So the festival will feature 8 stages.
With approximately 200 musical acts performing, the festival organizer unveiled the first 40 artists on the lineup, such as Kali Uchis, Foo Fighters, Skrillex, and PJ Harvey.
And also yesterday, Roskilde added a further 29 names to the bill, including American rapper and also singer Doja Cat, and also rock band Jane's Addiction.
Roskilde Festival offers a total capacity of 80,000 full festival tickets, along with 20,000 one-day tickets distributed from Wednesday through Saturday on Ticketmaster.
All right, still on the topic, Dutch disc jockey Tiesto has been announced as the first ever DJ to play in-game during the Super Bowl 58.
Well, this is also exciting for me because I studied in the Netherlands and, we went to several of his concerts. Now he will be heading to the Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas next month, set to perform as part of the event on February 11. As well as being set to perform to the thousands of fans at the stadium during the warm-up for the sports event, Tiesto will also remain in place to play brief sets during the breaks featured within the game.
While the upcoming installment makes him the fifth DJ to be hired to play before the game after DJ Khaled, D-Nice, Zed, and DJ Snake. Now, he will also be the first to be allowed to play throughout the duration of the game.
In addition to Tiesto, this year's game will feature Usher rocking the halftime show, as well as Reba McEntire singing the national anthem during the pregame, which will also host Post Malone doing America the Beautiful and Andrew Day singing live Every Voice and Sing.
Oh, loving to see all the fireworks there. It's just like reminds me of New Year's.
But you know what? Actually, like there is a saying that anyone who performs at the Super Bowl halftime is actually someone or celebrities who are already reached their peak and now sort of like in their not downfall, but it's like they already had their time and now they're not as relevant anymore.
Okay, they've reached the top.
They reached the top already. So who would you want to see in the halftime show?
Ooh,
considering that context.
Oh, DJ Khaled, I like it.
DJ Khaled? Okay. Wow, I never thought that you are a DJ Khaled.
Since you asked.
Well, now I know.
It's okay, right? Okay, guys, so we are going to go for another short break, and we're going to talk more about DJ Khaled a little bit later after the break. So we'll still have more updates from around the world just for you. So keep it here only on the C Morning Show right here on C Today.
Binjai mau migrasi.
Cakep.
Anjay, aku depot sih.
Ya, aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik loh.
Aduh ya Allah.
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi tuh hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mars.
Pemain.
A group of volunteers operating in south of the city has united to assist displaced children in a refugee camp in Rafah in overcoming the trauma of war. The volunteers come from diverse professional backgrounds and share expertise in working with young people.
Asian flavors is gaining more popularity around the world in the last decade. Personally love this, not just because it is familiar for our palate, but because the airiness, the textures of the youtiao, it's completely different than baguette. So with those appetites and with those pleasure-driven people, Menteng is a very special place for restaurant.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
Handball karena masih baru, tadi kita harus bisa juga mempopulerkan ini kepada masyarakat sampai ke bawah.
We do it from scratch at the time because we don't know ice hockey, how to play, how to develop, how to manage this sport.
You don't have to be good with your foot. Like, you can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Oh, I love this atmosphere. Woo! Heading to Gili Trawangan. And this special episode, I already prepared myself for an adventure on the island, which in the top of the list to visit. And this is the travel note because life is dope.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia itu bergelombol menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
You don't have to be good with your foot. Like, you can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball. Yeah.
Welcome back to the C Morning Show, everyone. We're well into the second hour of our program, and we have some world news to get to, beginning with our top story. Thousands of Palestinians have fled the southern Gaza city of Khan Yunis on Friday as fighting between Hamas militants and Israeli forces intensified.
Israeli tanks were seen around damaged buildings from where a column of smoke was rising on the same road where entire families carrying out their belongings were leaving the area.
Families were seen traveling on foot westwards, carrying with them whatever possession they could hold. The Israeli army continued to expand its assault on the southern half of the war-stricken territory, with a focus on the city of Khan Yunis, Gaza's second largest, and its adjacent refugee camp. And on Friday, the United Nations top court stopped short of ordering a ceasefire in Gaza in a genocide case, but demanded that Israel try to contain death and damage in its military offensive in Gaza.
Now, South Africa brought the case, which goes to the core of one of the world's most intractable conflicts, and had asked the court to order Israel to halt its operation.
In a highly anticipated decision that was made by a panel of 17 judges, the International Court of Justice, or ICJ, decided not to throw out the case and ordered 6 so-called provisional measures to protect Palestinians in Gaza.
Friday's decision is only an interim one. It could take years for the full case brought by South Africa to be considered. Israel rejects the genocide accusation and had asked the court to throw the charges out,
which was subsequently updated and reproduced. For these reasons, the court indicates the following provisional measures. 1. By 15 votes to 2, the State of Israel shall, in accordance with its obligations under the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide in relation to the Palestinians in Gaza, take all measures within its power to prevent the commission of all acts within the scope of Article 2 of the Convention. In particular, A, killing members of the group, B, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group, C, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part, and D, imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group. The State of Israel shall ensure, with immediate effect, that its military does not commit any acts described in point 1 above. The State of Israel shall take all measures within its power to prevent and punish the direct and public incitement to commit genocide in relation to members of the Palestinian group in the Gaza Strip.
Meanwhile, Palestinian officials have welcomed the interim ruling by the United Nations top court on Friday, ordering Israel to prevent death and damage in its war against Hamas in the Gaza Strip.
Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas and members of his cabinet gathered in his office in Ramallah to watch the session of the International Court of Justice in The Hague.
While the ruling stopped short of South Africa's request for a ceasefire, it nonetheless amounted to a rebuke of Israel's wartime conduct. The court ordered Israel to report back in 1 month to show compliance, but it stopped short of ordering a ceasefire.
Meanwhile, South Africa on Friday held a ruling by the United Nations top court that Israel should do everything it can to prevent any acts of genocide in Gaza, with President Cyril Ramaphosa saying he hoped it would lead to a ceasefire.
The International Court of Justice, ICJ, in The Hague had earlier handed down its first judgment in a landmark case brought by Pretoria that also ordered Israel to allow humanitarian access to the Palestinian territory.
South Africa's Ministry of Foreign Affairs welcomed the ruling as a, quote, decisive victory for the international rule of law and a significant milestone in the search for justice for Palestinians. Meanwhile, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa said Israel's alleged crimes against Palestinians in Gaza have been laid bare in the International Court of Justice's ruling on Friday.
The effect of the order that the ICJ has granted today is that there is a plausible case of genocide. This marks an important first in our quest to secure justice for the people of Gaza. Some have told us that we should mind our own business and not get involved in the affairs of other countries. Others have said it was not our place. And yet it is very much our place as a people who know too well the pain of dispossession, discrimination, state-sponsored violence.
Elsewhere, dozens of Palestinians gathered at the Ramallah Municipal Theater in the West Bank on Friday to watch the United Nations top court session on South Africa's request for interim orders in the genocide case against Israel.
Ramallah Mayor Isa Kassis said that the decision is a good first step for a ceasefire process in Gaza.
The health ministry in Hamas-ruled Gaza said that so far 26,083 people have been killed and more than 64,400 wounded.
South Africa has accused Israel of genocide and asked the World Court in The Hague, Netherlands, to impose interim measures as the case proceeds.
It's a good first step. We believe that this high alert alarm was well received by the international community, and that 16 judges, 15 out of 16 were all hearing very well and in favor of the fact that genocide is being applied in Gaza. We see it more balanced so far, the hearing, but definitely not against our aspirations. We believe that it's a long journey, but now, if at least we can take humanitarian support for our people in Gaza, and to make sure that less killing takes place every day, and that the war is on its way to stop. This is encouraging.
I think we all would have benefited from the ICJ outcome today, and most certainly the outcome itself. It holds a capacity to take us to peace. It holds a capacity to take us to the guns being silent. It's now, of course, for the parties to respond in a manner that respects the outcome of the court. It holds the capacity to feed hungry children. It holds the capacity to deliver medical care, to see that happen. It holds the capacity for water to be accessed, for electricity to be accessed, and for lives to be lived.
Meanwhile, others in the southern Gaza Strip have expressed their disappointment over the latest ruling by the United Nations top court on Friday.
يعني يفترض في محكمة دولية على الأقل إنها تطلب وتطالب بوقف فوري لإطلاق النار، لكن للأسف هذا ما تم، وهذا يعني خلانا يعني نشعر بخيبة أمل كبيرة في هذا الأمر. أصبحت كأنها يعني دعوة للاستمرار بهذا العدوان، وهذا شيء مؤسف.
اليوم سمعنا قرار محكمة العدل الدولية في لاهاي، كنا نتوقع أن تكون اتخذت قرارات أفضل من ذلك، لأنه طبعا إحنا أغلب النازحين ناس مدنيين هجروا من بيوتهم، أطفال، يعني كنا نأمل أن تكون اتخذت قرارات بحق الإنسان كإنسان، تتعامل معنا كإنسان، معرضين لإبادة جماعية، معرضين لتطهير عرقي، يعني كنا نتوقع أن تكون القرارات من الدول ومن الناس ومن القضاء الذين اتخذوا القرارات أن يقوموا على الأقل بقرار وقف إطلاق.
And even though this ruling does not demand for immediate ceasefire, the implications of this ruling might be significant, especially that it forces the United States to pick a side on whether they will continue to support Israel or think about setting up policies that are more fair and just in regards to what's happening, because of the fact that actually the ruling is not legally binding, then the matter will actually, after this, go to the United Nations Security Council, where the Biden administration will once again, as I mentioned, face the choice of protecting Israel politically by either casting a veto or which by that further isolate the United States, or allowing the Security Council to act and pay a domestic political cost for not standing by Israel. And whether the United States will decided to respect the ICJ ruling will also shows to the world how consistent they are in this matter. Because previously the United States has said that ICJ measures are binding and must be fully implemented when it comes to the issue of Myanmar, Ukraine, and Syria. And so their response to this one will actually shows the world how they actually stand by their words. Now, also, in addition, Europe, who are usually more strict in complying with the international organization or international court compared to the U.S., will even more be on the hot seat, we can say, as the world watches how would they react, and this could potentially create a divide between countries in Europe. So even though the ruling does not demand for an immediate ceasefire, even though it doesn't have a mechanism to implement it, and it's still the provisional, which means that it's an interim decisions, and the decision of genocide can take up years. This actually has a ripple effect on how the nations of the world moves politically in regards to affecting Israel's decisions to decide on the intensity of their attacks to the people in Palestine. And we know that this has been going on for more than 100 years now. It has killed more than, days, not years. It has killed more than 25,000 people. 2/3 of them are women and children. More than 6,000 have been displaced. So this is truly something that is unprecedented, of course, in terms of scale and also the speed that it happens. So yeah, the world will be watching, and we're gonna continue to update you guys more on this matter also. And now let's take another break, but when we come back, we'll have some local updates from around Southeast Asia. So stay tuned to the Stay Morning Show only on Stay Today. We'll be right back.
All right, guys, let's get into our first update for today.
Meanwhile, a plume of smoke was seen billowing in the distance from Rafah in the Gaza Strip on Saturday, marking the 11th week of humanitarian crisis in Palestine.
Mount Anak Krakatau continues to erupt, spewing volcanic materials up to 300 meters high.
Sri Mulyani Indrawati said that Indonesia has minimized taking debt to meet the needs of the 2023 state budget until the end of the year.
821 ini perbedaannya dari Ducati sebelumnya adalah pertama terletak dari radiator, kedua dari desainnya yang cukup gambot, lebih padat, dan yang ketiga dia sudah ada riding mode.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
You don't have to be good with your foot. Like, you can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Hey there, buddies! Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk.
Enggak, dia hostnya, kita co-hostnya.
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. That's actually a good hack, because I used to live in Canada. That was our trick. Point to Manado on the smack. I'm horrible. I told you I'm bad.
Dikira dengan banyaknya informasi itu kan jadi makin gampang gitu nulisnya.
Iya.
Tapi ternyata susah banget.
Berangkat aja dulu, kerjakan apa yang ada di depan kalian. Setidaknya kalian hari ini walaupun tidak mendapatkan uang, tapi kalian mendapatkan kesempatan.
Walaupun di awal-awal itu banyak sekali rintangan dan tantangan.
Kalian berproses aja dulu, jalan aja dulu. Kalau udah waktunya kalian untuk dapetin uang akan datang nyamperin kalian. Hal yang paling sangat utama untuk mengawali bisnis, ridho dan restu orang tua. Itu hal dan modal paling besar dalam mengawali usaha.
Ke Binjai mau migrasi.
Cakep.
Anjay, aku deport sih.
Ya aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik loh.
Aduh ya Allah.
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi itu hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mars.
Pemain.
Group of volunteers operating in south of the city has united to assist displaced children in a refugee camp in Rafah in overcoming the trauma of war. The volunteers come from diverse professional backgrounds and share expertise in working with young people.
Welcome back to the C-Morning Show, everyone. We're about to hit the halfway point of our program, and we're about to share with you some of the latest headlines from across Southeast Asia. China and Thailand are set to sign an agreement to waive visa requirements for travelers between the two countries. The deal is set to enhance cooperation in areas such as trade, investment, security, culture, as well as exchange views on international issues. The agreement will take effect from March the 1st and will be signed by both countries' foreign ministers. Thai Prime Minister Srettha Thavisin has said that the agreement is an upgrade of Thailand's visa-free program for Chinese visitors that is scheduled to last until February the 29th. The mutual visa exemption will apply to holders of ordinary passports and passports for public affairs between Thailand and China.
Our second headline comes from Cambodia, who will apply for UNESCO World Heritage listing for several of its historical temples in the near future. They include Banti Khmer, Phnom Chisor, and Phnom Da. Minister of Culture Purn Sakona has said during a recent meeting that her ministry is ready to apply for listing of the temples. Banti Khmer and Phnom Chisor are Angkor-era temples built in the late 12th century, while Phnom Da temples is from the even older Funan period. Banti Khmer is one of the Cambodia's most important and least understood places, filled with complexity, comprising a unique archaeological site as well as a vital link to Cambodia's cultural heritage. Phnom Da is also located in the ancient era of Angkor Bore and surrounded by ancient cave sites.
The 27th ASEAN Tourism Ministers meeting took place in Vientiane on January the 25th. The ministers discussed the implementation of activities outlined in the ASEAN Tourism Strategic Plan, or ATSP, for the 2016 to 2025 term, as well as key priorities for the 2023 until 2024 period to help the recovery of the tourism sector. They noted that 49 out of 64 actions in the strategy, or 76.6%, have been implemented. Now, in addition, they encourage ASEAN states to continue carry out the remaining steps and praise the country's efforts and also dedications to implementing the ATSP following the COVID-19 pandemic. They also urged the proactive development of ASEAN ecotourism standard as an economic priority initiative in 2024 under Laos's Asian chairmanship.
All right, Indonesian Tourism and Creative Economy Minister Sandiaga Uno attended the 2024 ASEAN Tourism Forum, or ATF, in Vientiane, Laos earlier today to highlight the nation's dedication in sustainable tourism development within the region.
Now, during the ASEAN ministerial gatherings, he affirmed his commitment to enhance the collaboration with fellow ASEAN member countries, aiming to advance sustainable and also inclusive tourism initiatives throughout the area.
Tourism and Creative Economic Minister Sandiaga Uno is participating in the Asian Tourism Forum ATF 2024 in Laos from January 22 to 27. Demonstrate the country's commitment to sustainable tourism development in the region. While attending Asian ministerial meetings, Tourism and Creative Economy Minister Sandiaga Uno pledged to strengthen cooperation with Asian member countries to promote sustainable and inclusive tourism development in the region.
The Asian Tourism Forum 2024 features a range of meetings, including discussions among Asian tourism ministers and Asian partners. Indonesia's successful strategy and plans for developing village tourism with a focus on sustainable practices. In the capacity a co-share of the community, sustainable and inclusive tourism development.
Indonesia's strategic intention to promote regional tourism growth and collaboration is demonstrated by its active participation in the Asian Tourism Forum 2024 in Laos. For Indonesia, the Asian Forum serves as an investment cooperation forum and tourism standardization forum, and play a role in the development of the tourism sector by attracting more international tourists.
We are working very hard to take a strategic role how to achieve tourism as a net zero sector. Indonesia encourages the development of tourist destinations that apply the principle of sustainable and green tourism. And we are working with experts on the long-term environmental impact, social, cultural, and economic impacts in terms of achieving environmental sustainability. Sustainable and environmental aspects have to go hand in hand with tourism, because tourism is supposed to be preserving the nature, the culture for the next generation's adventure. The 2024 ATF meeting held here in beautiful Laos focused on quality and responsible tourism as sustaining ASEAN future. We have a lot of matters to discuss on the discussion agenda, starting from the implementation of ASEAN Tourism Strategic Plan 2016-2025, the ASEAN Tourism Professional Monitoring Committee, the ASEAN Tourism Resourcing, Monitoring and Evaluations Committee, and the Actions Roadmap for Sustainable Tourism Development for ASEAN. This is great because we need more connectivity between Laos and Indonesia. The tourism sector is one of the potential sectors of collaborations between Indonesia and Laos, because we have Luang Prabang and also Borobudur. Connecting these two heritage sites, I think, will be a primary priority for Indonesian and Laotian government alongside other initiatives.
Indonesia plays a significant role in shaping the future of Asian tourism by sharing best practices, participating to important Asian meetings, and offering insights to the sustainable tourism. This dedication not only benefits its own tourism industry, but also advances the expansion and the sustainability of tourism across Southeast Asia. Maniyoma Nontiksen reporting for the Sea Today, VNTM, capital Laos.
All right, let's turn our attention to Hanoi, where officials from Vietnam's Industry and Trade Ministry, along with the United Arab Emirates Economy Ministry on Wednesday, agreed to speed up the negotiations for a Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement, or CEPA, between both countries.
According to Minister Nguyen Po Dien, the two countries have been expanding cooperation in many fields, most notably the launch of their negotiation for the Vietnam-UAE CEPA agreement.
The two officials discussed measures to address issues in which the two sides have different points of view. Now, regarding bilateral cooperation, Minister Dean urged the UAE side to consider and also facilitate business delegation exchanges and coordinate trade promotion initiatives.
He also encouraged UAE businesses to invest in some areas of mutual interest in Vietnam. Furthermore, the two sides agreed to work more closely to speed up the Vietnam and UAE CEPA negotiation process. All right, time for us to take another short break here on the program. But before we do so, just another quick reminder to follow us on our social media accounts. If you haven't already, you can find us on either Instagram, x.com, or YouTube at CToday News. Stay tuned.
The beauty and the excitement of being there,
indescribable to lose such an iconic, historical, and magnificent.
Let's take a look around, shall we? Come on in. We found them.
Where people come and go.
A cup of tea, a perfect way to end your day. Come see the beauty, only on See Indonesia.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
You don't have to be good with your foot. Like, you can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, I love this atmosphere. Woo! Heading to Gili Trawangan. And this special episode, I already prepared myself for an adventure on the island, which in the top of the list to visit. And this is the travel note because life is dope.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia keluar dia itu bergelombol, menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
All right, guys, let's get into our first update for today.
Meanwhile, a plume of smoke was seen billowing in the distance from Rafah in the Gaza Strip on Saturday, marking the 11th week of humanitarian crisis in Palestine.
Mount Anak Krakatau continues to erupt, spewing volcanic materials up to 300 meters high.
Sri Mulyani Indrawati said that Indonesia has minimized taking that to meet the needs of the 2023 state budget until the end of the year.
.821 ini perbedaannya dari Ducati sebelumnya adalah pertama terletak dari radiator, kedua dari desainnya yang cukup gambot, lebih padat, dan yang ketiga dia sudah ada riding mode.
Flavors is gaining more popularity around the world in the last decade. Personally love this, not just because it is familiar for our palate, but because the airiness, the textures of the youtiao, it's completely different than baguette. So with those appetites and with those pleasure-driven people, Menteng is a very special place for restaurant.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
Handball karena masih baru, tadi kita harus bisa juga mempopulerkan ini kepada masyarakat sampai ke bawah.
We do it from scratch at the time because we don't know ice hockey, how to play, how to develop, how to manage this sport. You don't have to be good with your foot. Like, you can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the C Morning Show. Now, after all those international updates and updates from Southeast Asia, we're going to cool off with some Indonesian feature. Some parents encounter problems in communicating with their children, and one of the reasons is the overuse of gadgets in their homes. However, as one parent has a solution to overcome the problems, and that is by being outdoors in nature. Let's have a look.
Meet Yusdiar, a tourist from Jakarta who travels to Mount Gede Pangrango National Park in Sukabumi, West Java to enjoy the beautiful scenery. Aside from enjoying the fresh water and air on the riverside, families who visit the national park can also have some quality time with their loved ones.
Ya, salah satu kita kantongnya terjangkau, murah dengan biaya yang ada ya. Kita juga sama anak jadi kita bisa sama-sama sama-sama berkomunikasi. Kalau di rumah, kita satu rumah aja kadang-kadang nggak ketemu gitu kan. Dia di kamar, kita di mana gitu. Jadi pas di sini nggak ada sinyal, nggak ada apa. Nah kita satu harian bisa bercanda sama anak, ngobrol sama anak. Saya rasa suasana begini yang kita cari dalam keluarga ya, supaya kita bersatu sama anak gimana. Awalnya anak-anak saya nggak betah di mari. Tahun 6 bulan lalu saya udah pergi kemari. Dia orang awalnya nggak betah, sekarang malah dia ngajakin malah.
The Mount Gede Pangrango National Park Management also provides a camping ground for visitors who wish to spend some nights. They can enjoy the facilities and only need to pay an affordable amount of money.
Fasilitas ini ya kita untuk di airnya yang enak itu kita. Di kalinya dan tempatnya juga agak lumayan lah. Tiket kita masuk ya murah, paling murah ini.
Paling murah berapa?
20.000 per orang.
Untuk satu malam ya?
Kalau itu yang camp.
Camp ya?
Ya, kalau yang main cuman murah 2.500.
Mount Gede Pangrango is among the 55 national parks in Indonesia. It is preserved above a 27.4 million hectare of conservation areas across the archipelago. Today contributor reporting from Sukabumi, West Java.
Now, speaking of nature, if you happen to be in Sorong, West Papua, don't forget to visit Bukit Cinta or Love Hills, as this tourist spot offers breathtaking scenery. However, do prepare yourself for some uphill walks because there are hundreds of staircases to reach the top.
Welcome to Love Hill in Sorong City, Southwest Papua, or locally known as Bukit Cinta. From up above, you can enjoy the beautiful scenery and fresh air. But brace yourself, because you have to climb hundreds of stair steps to reach the top of the hill, where you can snap some photogenic shots. In Bukit Cinta, there's also a river with a vegetation area where an endemic type of orchid can be spotted. However, some improvements are in need to be enhanced, not only by the local people who managed Bukit Cinta, but also by the local government who are qualified to make a change.
Menyediakan tempat sampah agar setiap pengunjung yang datang di sini tidak membuang sampah sembarangan, tetapi membuang sampah pada tempat sampah yang telah disediakan oleh pengelola yang ada di sini. Dan yang kedua, mungkin bisa menyediakan kios untuk menjual minuman dan snack kepada pengunjung yang ada di sini, supaya ketika mereka menikmati sunset atau menikmati suasana yang ada di sini, mereka juga dapat minum atau dapat makan snack-snack yang ada dijual di sini.
Bukit Cinta is located between Sorong and Makbon district, a 45-minute drive from Sorong. Bukit Cinta is a great place to spend your time and is suitable for catching the sunset, capturing the solemn moment. Today contributor reporting from Sorong City, Southwest Papua.
Well, from the east of Indonesia, we're going to take you to the west of Indonesia, where the charm of the forest at the foot of Mount Sinabung in North Sumatra has always attracted local and foreign tourists alike. The attraction would lure tourism entrepreneurs to manage the area by setting up campsites that are often found there. Let's take a look.
Taking a break from the hustle and bustle of the city with its dynamics can be done by vacationing to mountain areas known for their coolness. In addition, small streams with clear water can also be one of the ideas for vacation destinations with family and friends. And one of the options is camping at the foot of Mount Sinabung in North Sumatra. The peak of Mount Sinabung can be directly seen from the camping site, which is only 3 kilometers from the top of the mountain. Tourists, both local and foreign, often spend the night here, pitching tents and enjoying the silence and peace while enjoying coffee and snacks. This is Edison Ginting, a cafe owner who set up the campsite, which is located in Namanteran, Karo Regency, North Sumatra. After seeing many people stopping to take selfies with Mount Sinabung in the background, he came up with this idea. This place has been set up for the past 2 years and it used to be the location of his coffee plantation.
Sebenarnya ini udah kali kedua kami ke lokasi ini. Kali pertama kita baru survei aja dulu. Ternyata tempat ini memang pemandangannya memang cantik sekali dan kemudian dari segi udaranya pun adem, dan kalau untuk kami yang berfamily ini sangat sesuai kerana bisa parkirnya langsung di sini dan kemudian langsung dipacak tendanya di sini. Jadi dari segi suasananya bagus, dari segi fasilitasnya pun okey, dan kami kalau berkeluarga ini kan ruangannya harus luas ya kan. Jadi anak-anak bisa berlari, bisa main bubble dan juga bisa santai-santai kayak ginilah sama dengan teman-teman dan juga sama dengan kami punya kaum keluarga dan saudara. Okey, kami tahu tempat ini daripada media sosial dan kami berasal daripada Malaysia.
Although Mount Sinabung is still showing volcanic activity, tourism activities here are still running. Every week, visitors still come to this place. Some stop by just to take a selfie and then leave, and then some stay overnight to camp.
Idenya dari sini orang lewat berhenti di simpang itu naik view Sinabung. Jadi ada niat untuk buka usaha kayak gini sejak bulan 1 tahun 2021. Sini ya makanan sama tempat di sini tempat camp itu aja. Itu tergantung muatan yang kecil 1,5, yang 4 orang 2,5 tiap hari buka.
The facilities here are perfect for visitors who bring families because there is a large field for children to play. There is also electricity to charge cell phones or other activities. Visitors can also rent tents with prices according to size, ranging from 150,000 rupiah to 250,000 rupiah. Today contributor reporting from Medan, North Sumatra.
All right, those are some options for you on various nature spots across Indonesia. For now, let's take another short break, and when we come back, we still have special performance from Willy Winarko with his new song, Besok Gimana. So make sure you stay tuned for that, only on the C Morning Show on C Today. We'll be right back.
Ke Binjai mau migrasi. Anjay, aku depot sih.
Ya aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik loh.
Aduh ya Allah.
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi tuh hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mars.
Pemain.
Group of volunteers operating in the south of the city has united to assist displaced children in a refugee camp in Rafah in overcoming the trauma of war. The volunteers come from diverse professional backgrounds and share expertise in working with young people.
Asian flavors is gaining more popularity around the world in the last decade. Personally love this, not just because it is familiar for our palate, but because the airiness, the textures of the youtiao, it's completely different than baguette. So with those appetites and with those pleasure-driven people, Menteng is a very special place for restaurant.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
Handball karena masih baru, tadi kita harus bisa juga mempopulerkan ini kepada masyarakat sampai ke bawah.
We do it from scratch at the time because we don't know ice hockey, how to play, how to develop, how to manage this sport.
Yeah, you don't have to be good with your foot. You can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Oh, I love this atmosphere. Woo! Heading to Gili Trawangan. And this special episode, I already prepared myself for an adventure on the island, which in the top of the list to visit. And this is the travel note because life is dope.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia. Yeah, you don't have to be good with your foot. You can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia keluar dia itu bergelombol menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
Berangkat aja dulu, kerjakan apa yang ada di depan kalian. Setidaknya kalian hari ini walaupun tidak mendapatkan uang, tapi kalian mendapatkan kesempatan.
Walaupun di awal-awal itu banyak sekali rintangan dan tantangan.
Kalian berproses aja dulu, jalan aja dulu. Kalau udah waktunya kalian untuk dapetin uang akan datang nyamperin kalian. Hal yang paling sangat utama untuk mengawali bisnis, ridho dan restu orang tua. Itu hal dan modal paling besar dalam mengawali usaha.
Ke Binjai mau migrasi.
Cakep.
Anjay, aku deportasi.
Ya aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik loh. Aduh ya Allah.
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi tuh hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mas.
Pemain.
Yeah. Kemarin ku lewati, semua ku hadapi. Besok masih tak pasti, hari ini aku nanti. Berikan diriku terima kasih, kemarin tak mudah untuk aku hadapi. Terlalu banyak kepikiran hari esok, hari ini lupa untuk bisa ku nikmati. Baik buruk semua ku rasakan, walau tak sesuai dengan yang aku harapkan. Lebih banyak gagal dibanding keberhasilan, semua tak selalu mulus di perjalanan. Orang banyak nanya besok mau jadi apa, jujur aku masih belum bisa menjawabnya. Aku hanya bisa menjalani hari-hari, tanpa harus tahu besok akan bagaimana. Kemarin ku lewati, semua ku hadapi. Besok masih tak pasti, hari ini yang ku nanti. Kemarin ku lewati, semua ku hadapi. Besok masih tak pasti, hari ini yang ku nanti. Yeah, hidup memang apa adanya, gak semua akan indah dirasa. Senang atau susah semua ku terima, baik atau buruk tak akan selama. Banyak nanya besok mau jadi apa, jujur aku masih belum bisa menjawabnya. Aku hanya bisa menjalani hari-hari, tanpa harus tahu besok akan bagaimana. Yeah. Kemarin ku lewati, semua ku hadapi. Besok masih tak pasti, hari ini aku nanti. Kemarin ku lewati, semua ku hadapi. Besok masih tak pasti, hari ini yang ku nanti. Katanya Masa depan gak usah kita khawatirkan selama kita mau usahakan. Yang pasti berbaik sangka sama Yang Maha Kuasa, itu aja udah cukup.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the C Morning Show as we kick off this segment with a wonderful performance by my good friend Willie Winarco with his brand new single, Besok Gimana. Willie, come on over.
Hey,
great
what's
to see
good,
you.
what's good, what's good?
Have a seat. Wow, so that's your brand new single, Besok Gimana. It roughly translates to What About Tomorrow, right?
Yeah, that's it.
You know, that song, listening to the lyrics, and for those that understand it, it reminds me of this, and I'm paraphrasing here, I don't know the exact saying, but it's like, tomorrow is uncertain, yesterday's history, but today is a gift. That's why they call it the present. And it's a lot of like reflection and retrospective thinking.
True.
So tell me a little bit about the single. I mean, what we have just entered 2024, which I think is very fitting for a song with this sort of thing.
Exactly.
So tell me a little bit about it.
Everybody's talking about their New Year's resolution.
Correct.
Right? But at the same time, you know, some people, you know, we think about what's going to happen this year. We don't know what's going to happen. You know, there's a lot of negative energy sometimes that comes to us. And I feel like this single, this music that I'm making is actually trying to reflect on that. You know, tomorrow, sometimes we think so much about tomorrow that we forget to enjoy today. And at the end of the day, you know, that's the key message that I want to give to my audience. You know, at the end of the day, you know, thinking about it, I mean, it's okay to think about tomorrow. It's okay to plan for tomorrow, but it's not okay to worry too much about tomorrow. You know, you can plan something, but at the end of the day, you know, it's the man upstairs that's going to get us.
And that's exactly what you said at the very end, right?
Exactly.
Phrase. So, a lot of musicians, they always tell us that a lot of their music, especially their lyrics, is inspired by life incidences. Tell me about 2023. Were there any life incidences that inspired you or motivated you to write the song?
And 2023 was an amazing year for me. You know, it was amazing how, you know, I gained so many listeners. A lot of people love the music. You know, I collaborated with so many people. So it wasn't one particular thing that made me feel like I want to make this song. It was more about, you know, what I felt even before, and what I felt last year was we did so many things, and, you know, thank God for it. You know, it's all blessings, but it's
thankful,
like,
right?
you know, I'm very thankful for it. But there is a certain part of me that's like, okay, what's next? Now what?
Okay.
Right? And so from that stems, you know, me worrying about tomorrow too much. At the same time, then I couldn't write music. I couldn't make more new music. It was like, it was a challenge, you know, it was such a challenge. So at the end of the day, okay, let's just, let's not think too much about tomorrow. Let's just think about today, and, you know, and let's work hard enough so that tomorrow we don't have to worry about it. You know?
Okay, so it's more like being in the moment. A lot of people say that, but it's really hard to actually do.
Exactly, exactly. Being in the moment, you know, it's easy to talk about it, right?
Okay, so what type of person are you actually? I mean, you mentioned about, I mean, you have obviously a background in radio, in music, but you yourself as a whole, are you somebody who just kind of goes along with the flow, or do you have like a specific vision in mind of what you actually want?
I have a very specific vision of what I want.
What is it?
And that is, you know, bringing more positivity to a lot of people, you know, way more to everybody. You know, I want all the listeners to my music to actually feel what I'm saying and, you know, just become better, you know, at the end of the day. But, you know, again, because when you're such a visionary, or when you have so many things in your head, again, you start planning too much. You know, don't overthink it.
Okay.
At the end of the day, just don't overthink it.
Okay, so you talk about tomorrow and not to think too much about tomorrow, but if you had to, what would be your ideal tomorrow?
My ideal tomorrow is just, is me facing all the hard stuff in life and not being fazed by it. You know, sometimes we want to escape it, right?
Yeah.
We want to escape all the hard things. You want to escape those 7...
It's easier to do.
It's easier to do, yeah. You don't want to run at 5 a.m. in the morning, but you know, you have to face that, right?
Okay.
And that's my ideal tomorrow, is actually me having the courage to face all that.
Well said, and a nice segue for me as well, because recently I follow you on social media. We've had you on our talk show before. You've recently had a bit of a shift in the way the content that you post on social media. You actually share quotes about life. What brought about this change?
It's pretty much me wearing my heart on my sleeve, pretty much, because that's been me since ages ago, you know, but I never had the courage to show it on social media, to share it with others.
Why
not? It's cheesy.
Okay.
It's cheesy.
Back at the time, you're like, I don't want to do this.
Quotes are cheesy, you know. Everybody is like, oh man, you know, what is this? Everybody's going to be talking about me. But, you know, as I said, at the end of the day, as long as it helps other people, as long as I give value to other people, I think that's what I have to focus on instead of what other people are saying about me.
Okay.
You know?
And how has your followers responded now that you've kind of made the shift? What has the feedback been like? What are people commenting?
Yeah, and it turns out, you know, they appreciate it. Yeah, they appreciate, you know, what I'm saying, and I'm very thankful for it. I'm thankful for everybody, not just on social media and everything. Like, they share it on their WhatsApp group, they share it with their families, you know, and you know, if I can represent what they're saying in their heart and what they feel in their heart and their minds, like, I would be honored, you know, I would be honored to be part of their lives.
Makes you feel good, doesn't it?
It makes you feel like you're going to heaven, you know?
Well, another thing that has made you feel good recently is because another shift that you have made recently is your journey towards wellness. Physical wellness, mental wellness. And I can see that by, as you mentioned, waking up at 5 a.m. for a walk in the morning. And you kind of set these targets for yourself. Today, I want to walk 10,000 steps, for example. What has brought on this latest kind of, I guess, enlightenment?
Yeah. I've been a person that's very ambitious. Like, I have ambition, and I want to pursue many things, right? Whether it's music, whether it's business, whether it's hosting, you know, radio. But I didn't have the energy to actually do those things. So by 12 in the afternoon, I was already knocked out. You know, I had to. You know, I'm a guy that uses the object very much, you know, I love it, right? But then I was in a point where I was just so tired, even at, you know, 12 in the afternoon.
That's like midday already,
yeah, midday, and I'm already tired, so I had to get the car. It's expensive, you know, like, so I don't like using cars, what is that, like taxis and stuff. So I was like, okay, let's try to do this and, you know, walk, and then I'm gonna eat healthier. I'm going to go on this journey, you know. And, you know, 21 days later, this is day 22, I'm like, wow, it feels good. I can ride the object and, like, I don't care.
Has it helped, really?
And it helped, really, it really helped.
Hasn't even been a month yet, then.
Yeah, because, like, I guess I'm so active, so it gives me a lot more energy. Like, I have a bike at home, right? I never use that bike anymore, but now it's like, okay, I'm riding everywhere now, you know, because
you can feel it now. Like midday, you're still good to go.
I'm still good to go. I can go like until 10 p.m. if I wanted to.
Okay.
You know?
Now, one of the things that I found really interesting is recently so as you mentioned, for the last like 3 weeks or so, you've been doing these daily walks. And we do have what we call Car-Free Day in Jakarta. And this is when like thousands of people in Jakarta, they shut off all the main roads in the capital city. And then people actually just go out for either exercise or bike walks. And you actually went out on one of these bike walks. And we've got a little snippet of what happened on Willie during one of these Car-Free Days. Let's have a look.
Okay.
Excuse me, you rap? Yeah. Really?
No, kidding.
No.
No? No? Excuse me?
Yo.
Do you rap?
Oh yeah, of course.
You actually rap?
Yeah, I do.
No way. What's your artist name?
I'm Willie Winarco.
You freestyle?
Yeah, I do.
Well, the last person to freestyle on our videos got 15 million views. You think you can beat it?
Hey, amen.
Lucu juga lihat orang-orang siap miskin kelihatan kaya. Lihat orang-orang siap miskin demi gengsi dan gaya. Bela gengsi, kantong emergency. Cari money, pay later ke besti. Karena kemajuan lebih berharga dari kemajuan. Demi dipandang lebih validasi untuk orang-orang. Mending fokus mencari rezeki, nolak jadi beban keluarga. Putar otak yang penting usaha.
amazing. So, for those that aren't familiar, I'm familiar because I spent many years in Canada. That was Crash Adams, right? And they were here. They had a concert, if I'm not mistaken, in Singapore.
Yeah.
And they came to Jakarta. I was not aware of this. They decided to do this impromptu thing where they went to Car Free Day.
Yeah.
And they started asking people, like, would you fill in on our song?
Exactly.
That was their song, Good Side, correct?
Yeah.
Now, that song went viral as well.
Yep.
And the previous person that did freestyle, how many views did they say they got? Like, how many million views?
15? I don't know, man.
15 million views or
They're
something
always on the For You page.
How did yours do, by the way? Because that was amazing.
I don't know. A lot of people, like, you know, my Instagram just went,
started blowing up.
Yeah, my DMs started going, like, I had like 200 DMs I haven't read yet. You know, I'm very sorry, but it's like, I will get to every one of them. You know, it's just that it's very tiring. Like, it's a blessing, man.
So they posted it on theirs?
On their social media, and you know, that translated into, you know, a lot of new followers and a lot of new people that love my music.
That was amazing because you said a lot of things that kind of hit home a little bit, right? About people who are like trying to look like they're rich and flexing and stuff like that. It's a lot of relatable stuff that that you talked about there. And what was some of the people's feedback, the ones that you did get to read?
Yeah, man, it's so funny how, like, dang, I relate to this, you know, this is what I'm feeling right now. And, you know, that's pretty much what I want to portray. You know, I just want to relate to a whole bunch of people that, or like be the voice to the people that don't have a voice, right? And at the end of the day, if I do that, you know, people will feel like, you know, they have a voice then. And, you know, I can be the megaphone on, you know, everybody.
Nice. So I also want to clear things up that, because when I first saw that, I'm like, did he already plan this with like Crash Adam? Did you guys like already talk before?
Yeah.
Was that just completely like random and you were just actually really on your morning walk out there?
Well, I was in my morning walk.
Okay.
Right. I was on my morning walk, and you know I knew that Crash Adams was like in town.
Right.
And I knew that they were going to be, you know, in Car Free Day, but I didn't know that I was really going to do that.
And you didn't know they were going to start asking people exactly.
Exactly.
You just wanted to run into them as a radio announcer. You're familiar with Crash Adams?
Yeah, pretty much. You know, I was like, hey, I like that. You know, I want to see that. Maybe right?
Get a selfie.
Why not? Maybe they'll put me in their content, right?
There you go. Yeah, you're hoping.
Yeah, I'm just hoping, right? But hey, it turns out it worked out. It worked out, right?
What a great Sunday that turned out to be. Yeah. And I guess that's like an extra added benefit to your new journey towards wellness.
Yeah.
To Crash Adams as well.
Exactly.
What did they think of it, by the way?
Oh yeah, they loved it. They loved it so much. You know, I think we're gonna do a part 2 soon.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about that. A lot of your freestyle lyrics and your rap lyrics, they're very, as you mentioned, relatable, and some people I'm sure will find, hey, that would work well with our music, as Crash Adams found out as well. So do you have any like collaborations in mind, you know, perhaps for 2024 that you'd like to, artists that you'd like to work with?
You know, I'm a very bad collaborator. Like I love people, right?
Yeah.
But it's so hard for me to ask, like, hey, do you want to collaborate with me? You know, I'm that kind of person where, like, I like to be in the studio alone, and then I'll make my music, and then afterwards, right? If it's like, hey, I think this guy fits on this track, okay, let's do it, you know?
Okay.
And then, so
You're shy.
I'm shy. Yeah, I'm shy.
That's what it is.
Yeah, I'm an introvert. Right. I'm an introvert.
Gotcha.
So at the end of the day, I'm like, yeah, I just stay home a lot.
You have a wish list, like if you could have any international or local artists, choose one each, like somebody that, you know, hey, who knows, one day I'll be able to feature on a track with them.
I'm still hoping like I'll get a feature from Psychoji one day.
Oh, wow, that would be amazing. I was thinking the same thing. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Because both of your lyrics, like you guys enunciate very well. Psychoji along with Tuan 13, two of my favorite rappers, partly because they're able to keep their lyrics simple. And I notice you do the same thing. You just want to deliver your message and it's very clear as well.
Yeah, amen. I did one with Tuan 13, so that's already in the bag, right? So Psychoji is next. For international artists, I don't know, man. Maybe Coldplay.
Wow.
I want to. Hey, man.
I did say anyone, so there you go. Who knows?
I want to do one with Coldplay maybe one day.
It's like, come to Singapore, part of our concert.
Exactly.
I want to ask you one more thing. Along with being a radio personality, musician, content creator, you've actually written a book, and I didn't know about this as well. It's called Hidup dari Konten. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, you know, I'm a musician first, right? But you know, I had to make ends meet. You know, electricity got to be paid, so I had to do radio. Right. I had to be a host, and one of those things is I had to make content, right? And that paid the bills. So what I said in the book is I'm not here to tell you how to get a car, an expensive car, or maybe a mansion, you know, from content. No, I'm just saying, like, you can live off Instagram, TikTok, making short videos. You can live off that, you know?
It's a revenue stream.
It's a revenue stream, you know? At least you can get minimum wage on it, you know, at the end of the day. So if you can get just minimum wage by posting videos, why not? So that's pretty much the premise of it. How do you live from content? And, you know, I see there's like TikTok and Instagram Live now, you know, there's a whole bunch of places, like there's YouTube, and so much opportunity out there in content that I feel like, hey, you should get on this. You know, you can live off content.
You know, it's really nice for you to have this perspective, because other people would be like, hey, I don't want to help the competition because that should be my revenue stream. But instead, you're sharing this knowledge and hoping to inspire others to do the same.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Because, you know, you can't take it all.
Yeah,
you
there's
know?
enough pieces of the pie for
Exactly. You can't take it all. You know, at the end of the day, if I can provide value to people, if I can make a person become like more valuable, if they can actually live off making content, making short videos, like short videos. Yeah. Can you imagine, like, endorsements? Yeah, you know, like it's still mind-boggling to me, you know, because back in the day, right, I used to cook. I was in the kitchen. I was selling kebabs, right? Yeah. And it's hard breaking labor, right? And it's hard labor. Like I was saying, like, yo, I have respect to all the cooks out there, to everybody in the kitchen, you know, like, it's not an easy job what you guys do. You know, everybody that's doing manual labor and stuff like that. But like, making short videos, come on, man.
Setting up a camera?
Setting up a camera, and like, you can live off that? Yeah. That's still mind-boggling to me, you know?
You're such a positive guy. That's why I love chatting with you, Willie. Before we end our conversation, could you give us just a little reprise of that freestyle that you did with Crash Adam? Do you still remember the lyrics?
It's like, lucu juga lihat orang-orang siap miskin untuk kelihatan kaya. Lihat orang-orang siap miskin demi gengsi dan gaya. Bela gengsi, kantong emergency, cari money, pay later ke bestie. Karena kemajuan lebih berharga dari kemajuan. Demi dipandang beli validasi dari orang-orang. Mending fokus mencari rezeki, nolak jadi beban keluarga. Putar otak, yang penting usaha, daripada kebanyakan gaya.
Everyone, great conversation. As always, good luck with you and your brand new single, which is now available on all streaming platforms.
Let's go.
Besok Gimana? All right, that was Willie Winarco. We're going to take another short break here on the C Morning Show, but do stick around. We have more coming up for you when we return. Please do stay tuned.
All right, guys, let's get into our first update for today.
Meanwhile, a plume of smoke was seen billowing in the distance from Rafah in the Gaza Strip on Saturday, marking the 11th week of humanitarian crisis in Palestine.
Mount Anak Krakatau continues to erupt, spewing volcanic materials up to 300 meters high.
Sri Mulyani Indrawati said that Indonesia has minimized taking that to meet the needs of the 2023 state budget until the end of the year.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
Yeah, you don't have to be good with your foot. Like, you can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
821 ini perbedaannya dari Ducati sebelumnya adalah pertama terletak dari radiator, kedua dari desainnya yang cukup gambot, lebih padat, dan yang ketiga dia sudah ada riding mode.
Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk.
Enggak, dia hostnya, kita co-host.
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. That's actually a good hack, because I used to live in Canada. That was our trick. Point to Manado on this map. I'm horrible, I told you I'm bad.
Dikira dengan banyaknya informasi itu kan jadi makin gampang gitu nulis.
Iya.
Tapi ternyata susah banget.
Berangkat aja dulu, kerjakan apa yang ada di depan kalian. Setidaknya kalian hari ini walaupun tidak mendapatkan uang, tapi kalian mendapatkan kesempatan.
Walaupun di awal-awal itu banyak sekali rintangan dan tantangan.
Kalian berproses aja dulu, jalan aja dulu. Kalau udah waktunya kalian untuk dapetin uang akan datang nyamperin kalian. Hal yang paling sangat utama untuk mengawali bisnis, ridho dan restu orang tua. Itu hal dan modal paling besar dalam mengawali usaha.
Ke Binjai mau migrasi.
Cakep.
Anjay, aku depotsi.
Ya aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik loh.
Aduh ya Allah. Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi itu hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mas.
Pemain.
Group of volunteers operating in the south of the city has united to assist displaced children in a refugee camp in Rafah in overcoming the trauma of war. The volunteers come from diverse professional backgrounds and share expertise in working with young people.
Welcome back to the C Morning Show right here on the C Today with me, Rahma Landi. And if you just joined our program, well, hello, good morning. It is 8:15 and it is time for me to do a little bit of recap if you missed our earlier news. A school building in central Maluku burned down early on yesterday when classes were ongoing. Now, the fire prompted the swift evacuation of hundreds of students. Firefighters put out the blaze in 2 hours with no casualties reported. Investigations have shown that the fire began at the infirmary before quickly spreading and engulfing 6 classrooms and the library itself. An electrical short has been blamed for the fire. National Capital Authority, or OIKN, is holding the 2024 Nusantara Fair from 26th until the 28th of January. Now, this event showcases the progress of the future capital and also technologies used in its development.
The National Capital Authority, or OIKN, is holding the Nusantara Fair at Kota Kasablanca Mall in Jakarta. Speaking during the event's launch on Friday, agency head Bambang Susantono described the fair's function as updating the public on IKN's progress and introducing future programs in support of the residents. He added that IKN is part of national development that will provide space for people to enjoy economic equality as an Indonesian-centric capital as opposed to Java-centric.
Menurut kami justru kita ingin mengajak semua masyarakat Indonesia untuk benar-benar Nusantara itu bagian dari transformasi kita bersama. Tagline kita kan adalah Nusantara adalah kita adalah Nusantara gitu ya. Jadi kita ingin mengajak sosialisasi, banyak yang belum mengerti apa itu IKN Nusantara, bagaimana akan dibangun, bagaimana kita akan membangun Indonesia sentris ke depannya, tidak lagi Jawa sentris, bagaimana kita akan melakukan transformasi hijau, bagaimana nanti 2045 ini teman-teman yang di sini ini yang muda-muda yang akan menjadi penghuni IKN gitu kan. IKN itu asik loh.
On the occasion, Bank Mandiri's Deputy CEO Alexandra Askandar revealed that the bank is planning to establish a head office in Nusantara, boasting a green concept and digital-based service system. She described the move as Bank Mandiri's participation in national development.
Jadi, sebagaimana kehadiran kami di sini merupakan wujud bagaimana Bank Mandiri mendukung upaya pemerintah dalam mewujudkan ibu kota Nusantara dan juga khususnya dari sisi otorita IKN. Dan kalau yang tadi bocorannya mungkin waktunya kapan kita tunggu sama-sama ya.
Nusantara Fair runs until January the 28th. Arif Subakti, Niko Arianto for C Today.
All right, so that's a wrap for this segment. We are going to go for another short break. So when we return, we'll still have more talk shows with something which is very special. If you like to do yoga, you have to listen to this one because Kundalini Yoga is up next. So keep it here.
The beauty and the excitement of being there.
Indescribable to lose such an iconic, historical, and magnificent.
Let's take a look around, shall we? Come on in. We found them.
Well, people come and go. A cup of tea, a perfect way to end your day. Come see the beauty, only on See Indonesia.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
You don't have to be good with your foot. Like, you can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this atmosphere. Woo! Heading to Gili Trawangan. And this special episode, I already prepared myself for an adventure on the island, which in the top of the list to visit. And this is the travel note because life is dope.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia keluar di itu bergelombol, menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
All right, guys, let's get into our first update for today.
Meanwhile, a plume of smoke was seen billowing in the distance from Rafah in the Gaza Strip on Saturday, marking the 11th week of humanitarian crisis in Palestine.
Mount Anak Krakatau continues to erupt, spewing volcanic materials up to 300 meters high.
Sri Mulyani Indrawati said that Indonesia has minimized taking that to meet the needs of the 2023 state budget until the end of the year.
821 ini perbedaannya dari Ducati sebelumnya adalah pertama terletak dari radiator, kedua dari desainnya yang cukup gambot, lebih padat, dan yang ketiga dia sudah ada riding mode.
Welcome back. You're still with us here on the C Morning Show. Yoga is an ancient physical, mental, and spiritual practice that originated in India. Now, the philosophy behind the ancient Indian practice of yoga has influenced various aspects of how society in India functions, whether it be in relation to areas such as health or medicine, or even education and the arts.
Exactly, Paul. And many different types of yoga exist, such as Hatha, Vinyasa, Vini Yoga, and it can also be difficult to figure out which particular style is right for you and your yoga practice. And today we will be practicing and learning more about another type called Kundalini Yoga, along with Kundalini Yoga instructor Onyx Trixie. Good morning, Onyx.
Good morning.
Good
Thank
morning.
you for being here.
Thank you for being here. So this is something that I'm very curious about. What is Kundalini Yoga and how it is different from other types of yoga?
Okay. So Kundalini Yoga has very unique quality. It's a quick result, and the Kundalini itself comes from Sanskrit word. That means coil the energy. So it's located in the base of our spine. So basically, all of us have it. And when it awakens, it can help us to reach our great potential as a human being. So it's not only focused on the physical level, make you gorgeous, feels good on your yoga outfit, but it's also work on the mental, emotional level. So it's open your heart with compassion.
Okay, so this brings us then to some of the benefits. So there's obviously physical and mental benefits from Kundalini Yoga. Could you delve more into what sort of these benefits can one experience once they practice this?
So the benefit for me personally is help me to heal from my own trauma, and then help me to dealing with everyday stress, of course, and then it's make me feel more safe living in my own body, and then help me to open my heart with compassion. So it's make me easy to relate to other people, and then the bonus is the spirituality. So it's easy to access your intelligence, your wisdom, your intuition. So I think, yeah, that's for me personally, but I think can be different for others people. It's depend on the needs.
Right.
Yeah, so for me, when someone asks, what do you need to bring you back balance and center to yourself? It's Kundalini.
Ah, interesting. And you also mentioned spirituality, right? That is able to push you to be more compassionate and relate better to other people. Can you actually elaborate more as well on the spiritual aspect of the Kundalini Yoga?
Okay, so the spirituality, it can be option. So people just can take it as a practice, but the other maybe they take it as a way of life. So because Kundalini is shifting our awareness, it make us more sense the unity of consciousness, and then you can see the connection in the everything in this life. So when you see the everything is connected, you become more aware. The way you speak, the way you do, and the way you act, and then the way you think. So every step you take, it will give impact for others, for the universe,
Oh, wow.
So I guess everything's connected, right? Mind, body, and soul.
Exactly.
So we invite all of our viewers at home, by the way, to join us because momentarily we are going to practice a little bit of Kundalini Yoga, obviously led by Onyx. And before we do so, you mentioned one statement that I'm very curious about. You said it helps you feel safe in your body. What do you mean by that?
Okay, because everyday stress, when we stress and when we have a trauma, in yoga we're familiar with parasympathetic and sympathetic.
Okay.
So the Kundalini Yoga helped me to regulate my nerve system and then make me connected to my breath. So whatever, when the world is chaos outside.
Oh, it's like your safe space.
Yeah, it's a safe space. Like back to my mat is always bring me back to my heart to feel safe. So whatever the situation outside, let's be back to our heart and our breath.
I love it.
Wow,
It's like that.
Great promise. Yes. You can,
So it's simple.
yeah, and like you can connect to your subconscious, I believe, and you can also coming back to your body as your safe space in the mouth. Sounds like a great promise, Paul.
Well, let's find out more about it by actually putting it to practice. We're now going to invite you at home as well. So, Onyx, let's get started. This is Kundalini Yoga, everyone.
So, in Kundalini Yoga, we always open our practice with mantra. We call it Adi Mantra. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. We will repeat this 3 times. Om Namo, does it mean I bow to the universal consciousness? Gurudev Namo, I bow to Guru within me, which is our intelligentsia, intuition, and wisdom.
Okay.
So let's sit cross-leg position. Put your palms on the knee, palm facing up, and close your eyes. Inhale and exhale. So when you inhale, inflate your belly. And then exhale, deflate your belly. And then let's put our palms together in the front of our chest. The thumb touch the sternum. Inhale. I begin. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Two more times, let's together. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Last one. Om Namo Gurudev Namo. Inhale, suspend the breath for a moment. And then exhale, release. Put your hands back to your knees. And then we start with the breathing practice. Bring your right thumb on your right nostril. Close the right nostril. And then left hands, we put our point finger touch our thumb. And then we just inhale and exhale through the left nostril. So breathing through the left nostril connected to right brain hemisphere. It makes us feel relaxed, connect to our intuition. And then inhale, suspend your breath for a moment. And then exhale, release. Put your hands back to your knees, eyes still closed. So you feel what's happening inside you. And then we continue, close our left nostril and inhale and exhale through the right. So inhale and exhale through the right is connected to left brain hemisphere. It's helped us to focus, energize. And then inhale, suspend the breath. And then exhale, release. Put your hands back to your knees. Eyes still closed. Feel what's happening inside. And then gently open your eyes. So for the next practice, we are going to do sitali. So we curl our tongue. So put your tongue out and then curl to make U shape. Inhale through your mouth and then exhale through your nose. So when you feel you get your own rhythm, you may close your eyes and bring your attention to the breathing. This sitali breathing is good to help our bodies cooling down and then release the anger. So inhale through our mouth. And then exhale through your nose. Inhale through your mouth. And then exhale through your nose. And then noticing the sensation. Maybe you feel more cold or feel lighter. And then inhale, suspend the breath. And then exhale, release. Back to normal breathing. Okay, so close your eyes. Feel the effect of the breathing practice. And then in Kundalini Yoga, we close our practice with sing a song. We are going to sing Long Time Sun, and we close with the chanting Long Satnam. You can follow me on the Long Satnam, but we close our practice. We bring our palms together again in the front of our chest with the thumb touch the sternum. Inhale and exhale first. So inhale, drop all the tension, release from your body, back to your heart. Inhale, let's begin. May the long time sun shine upon you, all love surround you, and the pure light within you guide your way on, guide your way on, guide your way on. Inhale, let's together, Long Satnam. Satnam. Let's we bow our head close to our heart. May this practice bring benefit for all of us, and may all beings be happy and free from suffering. Thank you. Satnam.
Wow.
So it's very short practice.
Wow. So this is my first time trying Kundalini, and the moment that we started to breathe from our mouth, using the U shape, and then exhaling from the nose, I feel my energy and body shifted into a different state, like a calmer state, slowing down.
That's what I felt more relaxed once we started doing the breathing exercise.
Oh, you do too?
I did feel more relaxed. Because, a little disclaimer, I'm nursing a little bit of an injury, but once I started doing the breathing, I felt just my body is less tense.
Yeah.
Because normally when you're nursing an injury, you're trying to protect yourself in certain areas.
Yeah.
And I just felt I was able to let go a little bit.
Ah,
very nice.
Yeah, it's just 10-minute practice. Can you imagine 75 minutes? It will bring your, totally reset your body, your nerve system.
How often do you practice Kundalini Yoga?
Every day.
Every single day. There you go.
So is the 70 minutes all just by sitting like this?
No,
or
actually,
you do some poses?
Actually, Kundalini Yoga come with formula. We open the chanting, and then we have a breath work, and then we have a repetitive movement, and then we close with the song like that. But because the time waste today, we only do the breath work. Yeah.
Nice. There you go. If you guys want to find out more, we can obviously find out more through your content as well, perhaps, on your social media.
Yeah.
Where everyone can find you?
My Instagram, Onyx Trixie. And yeah, I think it's more accessible for everyone, right?
Everything is going to be through there.
We are Instagram era.
There you go.
Amazing, guys. So that was Onyx Trixie, Kundalini Yoga instructor, and we just did a opening and closing of the Kundalini Yoga. It was amazing. You guys should try that out, and don't just directly go to Onyx Trixie's Instagram to know more all about Kundalini Yoga. Thank you so much, Onyx. And for now, we are going for a quick break, and after that, Paul will still return with a recap from the world of sports. Keep it right here.
Ke Binjai mau migrasi. Anjay, aku deportasi.
Ya, aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik loh.
Aduh ya Allah.
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi itu hatinya dia sebaik itu, dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mars.
Pemain.
Group of volunteers operating in the south of the city has united to assist displaced children in a refugee camp in Rafah in overcoming the trauma of war. The volunteers come from diverse professional backgrounds and share expertise in working with young people.
Asian flavors is gaining more popularity around the world in the last decade. Personally love this, not just because it is familiar for our palate, but because the airiness, the textures of the youtiao, it's completely different than baguette. So with those appetites and with those pleasure-driven people, Menteng is a very special place for restaurant.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
Handball karena masih baru, tadi kita harus bisa juga mempopulerkan ini kepada masyarakat sampai ke bawah.
We do it from scratch at the time because we don't know ice hockey, how to play, how to develop, how to manage this sport.
You don't have to be good with your foot. Like, you can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this atmosphere. Woo! Heading to Gili Trawangan. And this special episode, I already prepared myself for an adventure on the island, which in the top of the list to visit. And this is the travel note because life is dope.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia keluar itu bergelombol, menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
You don't have to be good with your foot. Like, you can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, welcome back. You're still with us here on the C Morning Show. It is time for a sports recap. We begin with some football news as the Indonesia under-20 football team lost 2-1 in an international friendly match that took place at Gelora Bung Karno Stadium in Jakarta Friday evening. The young Garuda squad took the lead in the 12th minute through a goal by Tony Firmansyah. Thailand was able to equalize with a goal by Paripan Wongsa during the 62nd minute. And following that, the winning goal was scored by Pikanet Lau Hawiwat in second half extra time. Next up, the Indonesian under-20 team will be playing another friendly match against Uzbekistan, and that match will be held also at the Gelora Bung Karno Stadium in Senayan, Jakarta, and that will take place on Tuesday, January the 30th. Kickoff is at 7:30 p.m. local time.
I think we had a better score in the second half, that's correct. But we also had a lot of chances in the first half, I feel. Like right after kickoff, to mention, for example, our strikers all the way through one-on-one with the goalkeeper. So I think if we score our chances in the first half, it would have been also a different game. But what we changed, what changes from first to second half is that we could actually see how Indonesia plays, because we didn't have too much information about this team. We couldn't do too much scouting about your team, and I think looking at team to play for 45 minutes helped us fine-tune a little bit our pressing. So I think we were much more successful in the second half in winning the ball high, and yeah, that helped us to create a couple of chances, and luckily, fortunately, we scored 2 of them.
Memang tujuan dari uji coba tadi adalah melihat atau memastikan kualitas dari para pemain secara individu. Bagaimana kita ingin secepatnya setelah beberapa kali pertandingan uji coba nanti kita dapat kesimpulan siapa-siapa yang masih bisa menjadi bagian dari skuad tim nasional U20 ini ke depan.
And in other football-related news, Jurgen Klopp has announced that he will be stepping down as Liverpool manager by the end of the season. Jurgen Klopp has led Liverpool to a Champions League title as well as Premier League championship during his tenure after being hired back in October of 2015. He made the shock retirement announcement on Friday that he will be resigning at the end of the season, saying that he is running out of energy. Here's more on this statement that was released.
Well, Jurgen, we're here because you have an important message to deliver to our supporters. Would you like to tell them what that is?
Yeah, I have to. I will leave the club at the end of the season. I can understand that it's a shock for a lot of people in this moment when you hear it the first time, but obviously I can explain it, or at least try to explain it, and I love absolutely everything about this club. I love everything about the city. I love everything about our supporters. I love the team, love the staff, love everything. That I still take this decision probably will, or shows you that I'm convinced it's the one I have to take. It is that I'm, how can I say, that I'm running out of energy. I have no problem now, obviously. I think I know it already for longer, that I will have to announce that at one point. But I'm absolutely fine now. But I know that I cannot do the job again and again and again and again. And after all the years we had together, and after all the time we spent together, and after all the things we went through together, the respect grew for you, the love grew for you, and the least thing I owe you is the truth.
Moving on to some basketball news now from the NBA. LeBron James had 25 points and 12 assists just several hours after being named to a record-breaking 20th NBA All-Star team starter as the Los Angeles Lakers beat the Chicago Bulls 141-132 on Thursday night.
Back it in with Williams, a little bit of a hand check, good spin, and he throws it down.
Los Angeles Lakers beat Chicago Bulls 141-132 on Thursday night.
Up by 5. This is their biggest lead.
D'Angelo Russell hit 8 3-pointers and scored 29 points, while Anthony Davis had 22 points, and Alston Reeves added 20 points and 8 assists.
The next two. Long three.
Los Angeles racked up a season-high 112 points through 3 quarters and took a 24-point lead that kept it safe during the Bulls' 39-point fourth quarter. The Lakers' 141 points were a season high, as were the Bulls' 132.
You're right, Stu. Doesn't matter where he is on the court.
Los Angeles area native DeMar DeRozan scored 14 of his 32 points in the fourth to lead 6 scorers in double figures for the Bulls, who have lost the first 2 on their 3-game West Coast trip. Kobe White added 25 points, Nikola Vucevic had 20, and former Lakers guard Alec Caruso had 17.
Unconscious!
With this victory, the Lakers went 6-6 to wrap up a 23-day stretch in which they had just 1 game outside Los Angeles.
Alex is stopping that. And no way you confront there.
LeBron James had 25 points and 12 assists and became the first 20-time All-Star in NBA history earlier Thursday, surpassing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's record. James, who topped Abdul-Jabbar as the leading scorer in league history last season, will also start his 20th All-Star game on February the 19th.
No way Alex
is stopping that. And no way you confront there. You cannot front.
Cannot wait to see LeBron James in his 20th All-Star game, where he'll be joined by Luka Doncic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, as well as Kevin Durant and Nikola Jokic. Looking forward to that coming up in mid-February. We've got to take our final break here on the program, but do stick around. We have more entertainment news coming up for you next.
All right, guys, let's get into our first update for today.
Meanwhile, a plume of smoke was seen billowing in the distance from Rafah in the Gaza Strip on Saturday, marking the 11th week of humanitarian crisis in Palestine.
Mount Anak Krakatau continues to erupt, spewing volcanic materials up to 300 meters high.
Sri Mulyani Indrawati said that Indonesia has minimized taking that to meet the needs of the 2023 state budget until the end of the year.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
You don't have to be good with your foot. You can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
821 ini perbedaannya dari Ducati sebelumnya adalah pertama terletak dari radiator, kedua dari desainnya yang cukup gambot, lebih padat, dan yang ketiga dia sudah ada riding mode.
Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk.
Enggak, dia hostnya, kita co-host.
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. That's actually a good hack, because I used to live in Canada. That was our trick. Point to Manado on the smash. I'm horrible. I told you I'm bad.
Dikira dengan banyaknya informasi itu kan jadi makin gampang gitu nulis.
Iya.
Tapi ternyata susah banget.
Berangkat aja dulu, kerjakan apa yang ada di depan kalian. Setidaknya kalian hari ini walaupun tidak mendapatkan uang, tapi kalian mendapatkan kesempatan.
Walaupun di awal-awal itu banyak sekali rintangan dan tantangan.
Kalian berproses aja dulu, jalan aja dulu. Kalau udah waktunya kalian untuk dapetin uang akan datang nyamperin kalian. Hal yang paling sangat utama untuk mengawali bisnis, ridho dan restu orang tua. Itu hal dan modal paling besar dalam mengawali usaha.
Ke Binjai mau migrasi.
Cakep.
Anjay, aku deportasi.
Ya, aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik loh.
Aduh ya Allah.
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi itu hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mas.
Pemain.
A group of volunteers operating in the south of the city has united to assist displaced children in a refugee camp in Rafah in overcoming the trauma of war. The volunteers come from diverse professional backgrounds and share expertise in working with young people.
Hello everyone, back with us here on the C Morning Show. It's the final leg of our program, which is entertainment news. First off, Netflix has recently unveiled the official trailer of Avatar: The Last Airbender ahead of its February 22nd premiere.
The acclaimed and adored Nickelodeon animated series of the same name is adapted into a live-action series. It revolves around 4 nations, namely the Earth Kingdom, the Fire Nation, the Air Nomads, and the Water Tribes that make up the world in which it is set. Benders are individuals who, through the use of gestures derived from Chinese martial arts, possess the capacity to telekinetically manipulate and control the element associated with their country. The only person who possesses the capacity to bend all 4 elements is known as Avatar.
Now, the cast for Netflix's Avatar live action includes Hye Wen-kyu Tarbell as Katara, Ian Owsley as Sokka, Dallas Liu as Prince Zuko, and Gordon Cormier as Aang. Now, meanwhile, executive producers of the series include Albert Kim, who doubles as the showrunner, and Lindsay Liberator, to name a few.
All right.
So earlier this show,
Yes.
I want to tell Paul, right?
Okay.
Because he wasn't with us. Earlier this show, right? We were talking about Avatar, and she asked me like, "Have you ever seen Avatar?" So I said, "No." Is that the blue people? And then
Right.
and then she said, "Yeah, that was it." And then I said, "No, I'm not interested." And then she sold me the story of Avatar less than 1 minute. I bought it straight away.
Oh, you did?
Because I was actually such a huge fan since I was in high school.
Oh, nice.
Me and my mom has this kind of obsession with good storytelling. So
Yes.
my mom was actually the first one who introduced me to Harry Potter.
Oh, okay.
And then because I trust her so much, like her taste, and when she told me about this one, initially because I thought, what is this weird, Chinese martial art looking
Yeah,
movies,
Shaolin
right?
looking.
Shaolin looking movies.
Yeah.
And then my mom told me, oh, it was actually really, really good. And I watched it and I got hooked of all the seasons and such a huge fan. It has great moral too,
Yes.
It's basically overcoming differences, seeing differences as something that actually strengthens collaboration.
Yep.
Oh, very
Which is
cool.
relevant in our times,
Absolutely. Agree.
Yes.
That's on my list now.
Yes,
Thanks
so
to you guys.
if I'm not mistaken, I think it's going to be out on Netflix on the 22nd of February.
Got it.
So be sure to check it out. All right, moving on to another story. Christopher Nolan's Oppenheimer has set a cinematic release date in Japan despite public criticism surrounding the sensitive subject matter of the film. Let's take a look.
The movie was released by Universal in most territories in July and went on to gross over $950 million at the global box office. But Toha Toa, which handles most Universal titles in Japan, did not release the movie.
We've got one hope.
However, in December, it was reported that the indie film distributor Peter Sand would give the movie a theatrical release in the country and is set to release on March the 29th.
We push that button.
On social media, Peter Sand said that the decision was made following months of thoughtful dialogue associated with the subject matters and acknowledging the particular sensitivity for Japanese people. They invite the audience to watch the film with their own eyes when it comes to Japan.
Remember this day.
Peter Sand has a history of working awards contenders. Other Universal titles it has released in Japan, including Darkest Hour and Licorice Pizza.
Until somebody builds a bigger one.
All right, so still from the world of cinema, American rapper / musician Snoop Dogg is now ready to take another stage as an actor in The Underdog.
That's right. Now, this upcoming movie is inspired by the rapper's real-life experiences with the Snoop Youth Football League.
Snoop Dogg takes the stage as Jason Jennings in the upcoming film The Underdogs. Snoop starts as a former pro football player with a penchant for a lavish lifestyle. Jason's story unfolds in this Charles Stone directed comedy. The movie was inspired by Snoop Dogg's real-life experiences through his Southern Californian-based Snoop Youth Football League he founded more than a decade ago. His league has had several players who end up in the NFL, including Houston, Texas quarterback C.J. Stroud, New England Patriots wideout Juju Smith-Schuster, and Los Angeles Chargers linebacker Diane Hanley. Aside being a star in the movie, Dogs is also one of the producers along with Kenya Barris. The movie also features Tika Sumpters, Mike Epes, Andrew Schools, Carl Penn, Candy Barus, and George Lopez. Through his deeds, Snoop's character hopes to provide himself back into the spotlight. He ends up meeting a bunch of potty-mouthed kids who are just as candid as him.
I see me in every last one of y'all. Everybody has their own unique personality. Everybody has their own story. And that's what I love about this movie, is that it's so close to the kids that I coached in real life. Like, each one of these characters that they played actually live on past the movie. I still see them as those characters because I coached, and it's such a real moment for me. And the way that they played these parts. They really did an exceptional job. These are some great actors that's sitting behind me.
Sound just like me. If you really want to win a game.
As a closing crowd notes, Snoop has made youth football one of his ways of giving back to the community, including a recent partnership with the NFL San Diego Chargers. The Underdogs now is available on Amazon Prime.
All right, so that just about does it for this Saturday morning episode. Unfortunately, it's still raining outside, but hopefully we were able to bring a little bit of sunshine into your homes over the past 3 hours. And make sure, while we're not connected on the air, that you do stay connected with us via our social media platforms. Right here, you can find us on Instagram, X, or YouTube at See Today News.
Yes, that is so true. So See Today can now be enjoyed in Australia on Foxtel's OTT platform Flash app, or in Macau Cable TV, channel 84. Or if you're in the Philippines, you can also watch the converged version, channel 58, and also Singtel Singapore, channel 50.
And for Telkomsel users, you can also watch See Today on the Maxstream app. And don't forget to also tune in again tomorrow, same time, same channel. And be sure to also catch our afternoon show at 5 p.m. I'm Rashami.
And I'm Ramalandi.
And I'm Paul Palelli. We'd like to sign off by saying, see Indonesia,
see the world, see today. Bye, guys.
Good weekend.
Back with me, with Chef Rehan on Satisfactory, Cook Healthy, and Cook Happy. Guys, welcome back with me, Chef Rehan, only on Satisfactory, Cook Healthy and Cook Happy. And today I'm gonna make my first dish. It's called sandwich with grilled cheese, and I'm a little bit add some twist with some pepper and onion. Okay, so this is the ingredients. We have the sourdough for the sandwich and all kind of pepper. Yellow pepper, red pepper, and green pepper, and then some butter, salt, sugar, pepper, onion, and the most important things is cheddar cheese. Okay. First thing I'm gonna do is we're gonna dice the pepper. Basically, the pepper is just the condiments. You can also use many things. You can also use tomatoes, onions, garlic. They're really good for the additional for the sandwich. Alright, the pepper is done. We just put it aside, and then we chop it the onion.
I'm gonna chop it dicely. Onion is done.